Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. How are you all doing? It's very calm music, so I thought, let's listen to someone who historically has not been the most calm, but he's actually been doing well. I think Marcel's maybe doing better. He's at least not yelling, so that's good. I'll take it. How is everyone? Good, I hope. Starry Beauty with 100 bits says, nothing beats a Sovsit Sunday stream on a snowy night. I hope it's very calming. As much as it can be. Sidosaurus says, great intro music. Thank you. There's a cat. We must see more cat. I feel like this is a frightening lack of cat in frame considering how much cat there is. Hello, cat. Hey, buddy. Oh, hi. He says, hello, chat. How are you? Meow, are you? You gonna get up on the desk? You're gonna do it, do it. You're very dexterous. Just curious. I don't even know what he's looking at. Altered Undying said, good evening, hope you're well. Hope you are too. Alright, I don't think I have any housekeeping anything. I watched the Doctor Who special last night. Me and Baha did. It was great. It was great. There's only one line that I was like, that feels out of place. But other than that, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's fun. And I cried. So that's good.
Right.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at what Marcel's been up to. He is out of jail. He's been out of jail. He does little presentations and stuff. He's still trying to grift. I say grift. I think he really believes this stuff, unfortunately. So I guess it's not a grift in that way. He's trying to sell a product that's accidentally fraudulent because he doesn't understand that what he's saying isn't true. It's not as fun to say as grift, though. Nuance kills pacing, let me tell you.
All right. Here. Everybody's a little bit quiet. I'm just going to check my volume here. So as you guys can see, we have a new office space in that. I've kind of...
I appreciate that behind him is playing video of himself. That's good. That's how I know he's professional, okay?
Moved into a bunker, so I'm just going to be focusing 100% on...
Did he just say he moved into a fucking bunker? I haven't seen this. I have not seen this. I'm not joking. This isn't a bit. I've not seen this. This is amazing so far.
Volume here. So as you guys can see, we have a new office space in that. I've kind of moved into a bunker, so I'm just going to be focusing 100% on just growing the programs and getting the sales teams up and all the stuff that we're already doing. We're also going to start doing interviews for a bunch of different experts in different fields. Like,
let me change. While he's talking, I'm going to change the camera. I'm a little too red. I'm going to change the camera settings, so if I'm distracted for a second, that's what I'm doing.
Like Robert Menard and a whole bunch of different people that have reached out. The sovereign marketplace is almost ready, so I'm finalizing deals with the Love Phone people for their satellite internet pods, Golden Bullion people. We'll have a whole bunch of different stuff basically that are sovereign aligned in what people are trying to do, and then also have it where if anybody...
So he's gonna try and start selling sort of like doomsday prepper / sovereign stuff like gold, because, you know, there's doomsday prepper people who are super into gold as a store of value as opposed to cash. You know, gold bug anti-fiat currency doomsday people. Hydrate.
As a mentor makes any sales, you guys get paid off of that as well. You don't have to, though. We're just continuing to develop things as we go. So
that's the
thank you all
best kind of structure, by the way, for a business, is where it depends upon recruitment and you like getting other people to buy things from you directly, almost like a network of marketers, network marketing in some sort of like reverse funnel system to steal a joke from It's Always Sunny.
Showing up. I was sitting there just waiting, and I'm like, no one's here. Okay, so it's really nice to see you guys. And
nice to see you too.
That's kind of my basic overview on just what's going on. I'll kind of open it up to you guys sharing a little bit about your progress. A bunch of people have gotten their bank accounts open. We're going to be moving into developing programs for them.
I wonder if these are more Fiverr people or if any of these are real believers.
That is one thing I want to mention is I am here all day, every day for you guys. So
if you've never seen me cover Marcel before, I guess I should mention, he has a tendency to hire people off of Fiverr to pretend to be customers that he will interview as if they're real customers to, you know, basically as an advertising thing. Oh, look, there are already people in this program and they seem happy about it. I should get in on that. It's never really worked. This is basically Peacemaker Society 2.0. Yes. I think he changed the name for obvious reasons. You know, it's kind of connected to his arrest and everything, and the fact that he was arrested for sort of terroristic threats, and his organization was called the Peacemaker Society. Kind of funny and not a great look. So anyway, this is his kind of new thing, and he's still trying to recruit people into what is effectively a sovereign citizen pyramid scheme.
If you're at the point you have your bank account, or if you're at a point where you're wondering what the next step is, give me a call, give me a text. I want to be there for you guys, but I don't want you...
Maps and Mimics with a link.
We are getting 3 people each. The more people that get involved, the more people who are investing, the more money we're all going to make. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se. It's...
I need to make a call.
I have to go make a call.
Yeah, basically. Lilac Rosenberg says, or rather, no, that's correct, says, at work can't say stay, one word situation where sovereign citizens were right. Let's see.
This lady tried cut
Fake cop gets warrant after pulling me over.
me off. Now she's got fake.
Oh my god, is this an actual fake cop?
Lights going.
Oh no! It's like, what's his name? Jeremy DeWitt, the fake cop that we used to cover, where he was arrested for, like, actual impersonation of an officer. That shit's scary.
It's a license plate R33S. Tag R33S, where there's a that was criminally charged for
Yeah, they did the thing where they
trying to pull me over.
If you're like, this is a thing that has happened. I don't want you to like be paranoid about this, but historically there have been people who have used like illegal modifications to their vehicle to pretend to be law enforcement and pull people over for nefarious purposes. So like you are allowed to call and check in and be like, hey, non-emergency line, I'm getting pulled over, like, is this an actual cop? Probably is. Statistically, it's almost certainly an actual cop, but if it was actually sus, you can do that.
I wasn't trying to pull anybody over. My knee hit a button in there.
Let me tell you something. So right now, over. Are you aware that the police have charged her criminally? Are you aware that the police have charged her criminally for impersonating a police officer? Okay, well they have, sir. Yep. Yep.
With a fucking AutoZone shirt on, too. MH Darkbee says, Hannah, I was really shocked that the alien was from Phineas and Ferb. Meep! 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 Beep the Meep was actually, in the Doctor Who comics, and it was adapted from that, which was fun.
You guys feeling like I'm harassing you either?
I know you were joking. I was just pointing out where it was actually from.
I appreciate, you guys have your own timelines and your own rate that you want to go through things. So just as you get to the point.
Oh, maybe one thing worse than a fake cop. Oh God, what is it?
Late afternoon on the
Fake paramedic?
outskirts of
Okay, we gotta watch this. We are going to be watching Marcel's thing, but this is weird.
Brentwood. Rob and Emily are out in the unmarked Vectra. Intelligence has just alerted them about a suspected phony ambulance that's been seen outside an Ipswich hospital earlier in the day. Having just pinged ANPR cameras further down the road, Rob and Emily set out to investigate.
We need to catch it before it gets to 29 in case we've lost it. We're looking for a car with real, like, Battenberg on the back of it. There it is.
Okay.
See it on the brow of the hill?
Yeah, I see it. In front of that white van.
They soon spot an emergency vehicle up ahead. But is it genuine or a fake?
Who in the world does this? Like, it's one of two things. It's either someone who is just so oblivious and selfish that they think, I'm gonna make my car look like an ambulance or an emergency vehicle so I can just get through traffic whenever I want. And they're so tone deaf that they don't understand how horrifying and ridiculous and untenable it is to have a society where people can just do that. Even if at best you're thinking, I'll get through traffic. First of all, you're not special. you don't get to get around the rules just because you think they don't apply to you. You don't get to do this. Secondly, if people start doing this for, I don't know, to get through traffic, what else are they going to use it for? Fucked up stuff. So either you're really stupid and not reading the room, and you're incredibly selfish, or you're an actual serial killer. There's pretty much no... I can't think of an alternative here, at the very least.
Ambulance on the back of it. Get onto Suffolk now while we're...
Emily radios base for some help identifying the vehicle.
Could you get onto Suffolk and just bottom out whether this is definitely, you know, the ambulance or not?
But before Suffolk can respond, the ambulance activates its emergency lights.
Yeah, I used to cover Jeremy DeWitt when that was, like, a more ongoing thing. It was interesting, and his appearance on Dr. Phil was certainly an episode of Dr. Phil. He's interesting, but a little... I'm not even going to call it one note. It's just like, he's just an angry, bad dude. Interesting, though. Very interesting. I like the ones that film their own crimes. Don't know why. That's particularly funny.
Does he have authority to drive the blue lights?
I don't know, it could be interesting. He's trying not to get pulled over, I reckon, maybe.
It's a surreal situation. It's not often the cops are the ones following the blue lights.
He's spotted us. He must have spotted us, and that's why.
With both emergency service vehicles parked up, it's time for a chat.
Oh, you alright? Is this your car?
Oh my god, did I title this Sovereign Citizen Saturday? One sec, let me double check. Okay, I did it correct here. For whatever reason on the Twitter and on the Discord notification, I said Saturday.
Sorry? Is it your car?
It is, yeah.
Your own private
Batting 500, that's not bad.
car, or...?
No, I've got a service car.
Oh, right. Have you got a driving licence and identification on you?
I'm afraid.
No, okay.
You got no identification at all, not a bank card or anything with your name on it?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I pulled over because I had a call. I think there's been an accident on the corner.
So he was on his way to attend an accident around the corner.
So you work for the ambulance service, do you?
I do, yeah.
Oh, right. Right, what's your name?
I'm afraid I can't say anything from the camera, I'm afraid.
Why's that? Why's that?
I'll have to speak.
Is this show scripted? Is this like a reality show that's fake? Because this guy is coming off as very strange.
Okay, come and speak to me at the back of the vehicle now.
And not
He
just
seems
he's kind of weird way, and like it seems like he's a bad actor way.
Strangely reluctant to give his name. Is there such a thing as an undercover paramedic?
He said that he was going to an accident to possibly help out an ambulance, but cars, I've never seen a vehicle like this help an ambulance. It's normally like the solo paramedic cars, and they're completely different vehicles, let alone, you know...
Yeah, it's just like a car.
He doesn't appear to have like the radio. It all seems a bit weird.
That is so funny! No, I get what you're saying. He's a bad actor, not a bad actor. Yeah, he's a bad liar in trying to do a performance in this case, but... Yeah, it's, you know, if you squint, you could be like, okay, sure, this is ambulance, but yeah, it's just like a hatchback. It's just like a tiny... I'm just imagining someone breaking their leg or something and they just throw him in the back of this fucking car. Well, you know, the NHS has had some cuts. You know how the Tories are.
Really?
So it's actually an ambulance, is it?
Yeah, we do also some film work as well.
Film work?
Yeah.
What film work do you do?
To be honest, it's mostly like the Bill and EastEnders.
Oh, right. Where's your first aid kit?
To be honest, if I choose TV work, that's all on set.
So what are you doing in it today? This afternoon, this evening?
Are you a paramedic?
No, I'm a technician. To be honest, it's going down to be repaired at the moment. Because it's a problem with the front indicator at the moment, so that's being repaired now.
Right.
He's probably just trying to use the sirens or whatever to get through traffic, is my guess. He just probably wants people to, like, yield to him in traffic whenever he wants, is my guess.
Okay.
So, he's a TV extra and an ambulance technician on his way to an accident with no medical equipment via the garage to repair an indicator.
Right. I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, things are rough these days. Lots of people are working multiple jobs. Apparently, some of them simultaneously.
Obviously, I know you've been talking most to my colleague, but so basically, you're a technician, yeah? So normally you'd work in ambulances and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It just seems a bit bizarre because normally you'd expect the back to be kitted out in some respect, wouldn't you?
It's so funny that, like, they're taking time to talk to him and explain why this doesn't make sense. If this was America and this was American cops, they would already have just, like, had this guy on the ground and have, like, already grievously violated his civil rights. It's just so funny watching UK cops be like, isn't this situation interesting? Instead of something they don't understand, making them very angry and want to punch something. It's weird. It's just weird seeing cops act like human beings, you know? That's not normal. Captain Squid. Obsessed fanaticist given restraining order after bid to steal ambulance papers. Oh, this is about this fine gentleman. Okay. Huh. A fanaticist with a dangerous obsession with ambulance services posed as a paramedic to try to steal confidential papers from inside the headquarters of the London Ambulance Service. Andrew Vincent conned his way into the Waterloo building trying to get a hold of a document containing call signs and emergency contact numbers. But he was rumbled when staff realized he was a notorious fanaticist with a history of pretending to be a paramedic. He had been caught on film by Channel 5's police interceptors in 2010, driving a fake ambulance. Like, is this like the guy who, this reminds me actually of the guy who was really obsessed with subway trains, and then he commandeered a subway train, or a train, whatever it was? Like, is it literally just a case where he has, like, an obsession with this thing and doesn't understand why this isn't okay? You know what I mean? Like, is he just, like, he's obsessed with being a paramedic and he wants it really badly, and he's trying to do that? It seems like it could be an interesting case in abnormal psychology. Let me put it that way. I don't know if he's being malicious here as much as he just has a obsessive goal of wanting to be a paramedic, and he's doing abnormal and rational things in order to try and achieve that goal. Of course, none of what he's doing is effective in achieving that goal in reality, but that's kind of the point. It's him doing his best to fit this delusion into the closest he can get to the reality he wants. I don't know.
Time to establish some hard facts using the lantern.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's necessarily malicious as much as it is misguided and delusional, and he might just need, like, help, you know, and to talk to someone who could maybe, like, take this energy and this interest and channel it into something healthy.
A mobile fingerprint device linked to the police.
They did call him a fanaticist. Yeah, it's a paper. Like, I'm trying to be kind. Here's the thing. Often, the media isn't the kindest when discussing people with, like, mental differences, whether we're talking about, you know, just people who are, like, neurodivergent or neurodiverse, or whether we're talking about people who have, like, delusional mental illnesses. They can be stigmatizing. So understand that when it says, like, fanaticist, oh, fanaticist is a different thing? Does that have a specific meaning? As in Lost in Fantasy. Thank you. I thought that it meant the same thing as fanatical. So thank you for clearing that up for me. I appreciate it, chat. Much better.
Database.
What we're going to do, we're just going to quickly stick your fingerprint on this, just because obviously the report that we've had, we need to just bottom out that you, because you only don't have any ID, we have to just bottom out that you are who you say you are. All right?
Fantasist.
Take your right index finger. Right index. That one.
That's strange. An ambulance technician who doesn't know his index finger. And when the result comes back, there's yet another discrepancy.
Well, funnily enough, the details he's given me, he comes back on fingerprint as not as Mr. Whelan.
How often is this wrong?
Oh, this is it's it's fingerprints. It says here the respondent is high, so even if it's low, it's not normally wrong. But high means unless he's got someone else's finger.
Actually, guy.
Just hop in the car for a minute, yeah, and we'll be with you just to keep warm if nothing
Rob
else.
knows that this bloke's been giving him the runaround and gets back on the blower to Suffolk to see if they can shed any light on the situation.
Basically, we had a call from the ambulance service this morning.
Yeah.
Basically, they said that they'd had a report to them of someone driving around in a white marked-up van as an ambulance, pretending to be a paramedic.
Right.
It was told to us that he'd been seen hanging around Ipswich Hospital.
Yeah.
The van was all marked up, blue lights on the side.
Yeah.
It says on here it is possible that he's known by the Met and has previously been arrested for...
Someone should get him a copy of, like, GTA San Andreas, because he can do the side missions when you're the ambulance driver. There's got to be an ambulance driver simulator at this point, right? Germany exists. There's a simulator for everything. There has to be, like, an ambulance driver simulator. They should gift, I think as a promotional thing, whoever the heck owns Ambulance Simulator should gift this guy a copy of Ambulance Simulator with any and all DLC. And maybe like a thing where you can, you know, like an actual steering wheel and stuff. Yeah. I wish him the best, and I hope he channels his very specific interest into something that's less, illegal.
That you are ready for the next step, or if you haven't heard from me and it's been a week or something, by all means, give me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can set up times for whatever you want or whatever you're doing. Some people are developing their symbols right now. As I said, some people just got their bank accounts open. Some people are organizing like email lists. Some people are booking different podcasts that I...
Is Marcel doing better or worse? To me, it feels like he's back. We've seen Marcel kind of when we've covered him go through this cycle, where he is calm and seems okay and seems like he's really confident in what he's doing, and he thinks, you know, everything's going great and it's awesome and I can do this. This is usually when you see him in a suit and the glasses like this. He'll try to look professional and speak professionally, a little more soft-spoken. Then he'll get to the point in the cycle where either externally or internally something spurs him to feel bad, right? Like, he doesn't have enough interest in his sight, or his girlfriend breaks up with him, or something happens with his ex-wife, you know? And then all of a sudden he's upset, and everything's awful, and the world's a nightmare, and he puts on his cape, and puts on the background of Gerard Butler 300 or whatever, and yells about taking over the world. And then usually disappears for a while, because he's obviously having a bit of a breakdown. And then he'll reappear after some time, back in the business suit, acting calm again, and then the cycle begins anew. Around and around and around. So I don't know if he's gotten better or worse, as much as he's just come back around to the first stage in the cycle.
Can appear on that they'll get some, basically get the referral fee from orders that come in from that. Are there any, I'm going to screen share for a second here just because I want to check my volume because my computer's a little bit quiet. Does anyone kind of want to start off with a comment or a question or anything that you're feeling or wondering or?
I was wanting to know a little bit more about those phones.
Yes, for sure. So the love phones, basically, for anyone who's not familiar, there's a sovereign indigenous.
Did he just say love phones? Call to cautious optimism with 16 months as an FYI 7 ad break is back. Jesus fucking Christ.
Indigenous tribe, our First Nations tribe in Canada that's developed a
I apologize for the ads, chat. I really, really do.
Satellite phone.
I don't know why Twitch is doing that. At least you'd think they would think to spread it out if they're demanding to play a bunch of ads. Why don't they spread them out? Why would they make you sit through 7 fucking ads? That would be bad even for cable. That's ridiculous.
That's completely encrypted. It's not 5G. It operates off of...
It's not 5G. Oh, God.
For sure. So the love phones based...
Oh, I got asked, what's my favorite Marcel? for his own personal mental health sake, this Marcel. I think he's probably a lot happier when he's in this mode. Just for the absurdist sake of it being so bizarre, it makes my brain laugh because of how darkly comedic and weird human behavior is. Cape Marcel. Obviously Cape Marcel. Cape Marcel says things like, I'm a judge, you're fucked.
Basically, for anyone who's not familiar, there's a sovereign indigenous tribe, our First Nations tribe.
Thanks for gifting us up.
In Canada that's developed a satellite phone that's completely encrypted. It's not.
Wait, who did? You did?
For anyone who's not familiar, there's a sovereign indigenous tribe, our First Nations tribe in Canada that's developed a satellite phone that's completely encrypted. It's not 5G. It operates off of...
I mean, a satellite phone is a satellite phone. Of course it's not 5G. 5G is a kind of cellular phone technology. What? First name Bunja Numbers, thanks for gifting a sub. Steve of the Q with 100 bits says, the love phone is a satellite phone where we can call each other. Oh wait. Is that supposed to be, is this a B-52 reference? Love phone, baby? I don't know. Like Love Shack, maybe? Is it a Love Shack?
A love frequency.
Skip is thanks for 100 bits. 85% to level 1 on the hype train.
So it's healthy for the body, the frequency, and completely encrypted. It's basically not cracked.
Did you just say it's a healthy frequency for the body? I wish there was a panel of me's, you know, because there's always that difficulty of how do you cover any particular thing, and your brain wants to go a variety of different directions with it. So I wish I could split into 3 different me's, okay? The first me is going to be, let's go X Factor American Idol formula. I think this will work. So on the far left of the panel, we're going to have incredibly, no. We're going to have kind of chill Hannah. Hannah who just kind of talks like, maybe like, you know, hey, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of weird. Maybe they level with the person. They don't give him tough love, but they're not lying to him either. Middle Hannah is always going to be empathetic towards whoever we're talking about. Center Hannah is the one that's in the middle so that, you know, it breaks up the criticism so that middle Hannah can make them feel better about themselves and build them back up. And then everyone's favorite, far right of the panel Hannah, who is going to be very mean and say all of the mean things that she wants to say. Like Simon Cowell, but without all the Botox, basically. See? Jokes like that. That's what she would say. Dave M1, thanks for 200 bits.
Because it works off local networks or local internet things, or it's connected to the satellite though. I'm definitely.
Stone Corbell says that's like fruit snacks that advertise fat-free. Why would you have fat in them?
I'm not a tech guy. I'm just kind of going
gluten-free water.
Going off of what they were saying. The phones right now, they're still working out their financing to have financing as an option. So right now, if you want the phone, it's like $2,000. They've kind of gotten backlogged because they got flooded with orders because they were just kind of in pre-launch and then everyone came. So they're just catching up on that. So if you order one, they're a few weeks behind on delivery. But those are available. And those are the same people that were doing the internet satellite. It's like a little internet pod. We just got the affiliate contract from them. I'm just reading.
It's like a pod of internet. Trevor of Hell's Beaumont with 200 bits. Thanks for getting us over a level of the hype train.
It over.
And how old is this video? He uploaded this 3 weeks ago. This isn't old. This is new.
Get it signed, and then in the next.
This is just the camera he uses for his professional stuff. I know. Confuses me too.
Next week and a half, when the sovereign market is up, it'll be on there. They're going for.
In what way is the market sovereign? Like, I know you're just using it as a buzzword. But, like, don't you also get mad when people call you sovereign citizens, but it's the sovereign market? Well, what's that a reference to? Is the market sovereign? Are the customers sovereign? Are the products sovereign? And most importantly, does this mean you think you don't have to collect sales tax? Probably. You're wrong. Normal Gamer Gal, thanks for gifting a sub. 26% to level 2.
For about $200. And then the internet service, I think, is $35 a month for unlimited I don't know exactly what the speed rate is. I know they did talk about it, but I don't. I'll have all the tech specs up on the marketplace when we actually have that up. But it is available to be ordered if you want a satellite phone. I just shoot me an email and I can refer you through to them. But they are a little bit backlogged on that. Someone got a hold of me and said there's another group doing a similar type of phone where it's quite a bit cheaper, like $600 or $800 for that phone. I'm still just in the
Wait, $600 to $800 is the cheap version? How much was the expensive one?
process.
I missed the price point, apparently.
Basically just finished moving. So I got unpacked the last couple days, and now I'm basically, by the end of this weekend, I'll be fully
2,000? Jesus.
organized in the new space, and then next week I'll start really kicking butt on. By the end of next week, my goal is to have all that organized up. I'm doing a complete overhaul on the website. So there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more coaching. I have a complete student manual for you guys coming that I basically had it in paper form. There's a doc scan program that you can take photos of it and makes it into a digital product. So I have that all done now, and I'm just in the process of organizing that for you guys. I'll have lots of good stuff in there for you too. I'm just so excited. There's so much to go through with you guys.
He called it a love phone?
But I don't know if I answered really what your question was about the love phone there, or the satellite phone.
I'll do some looking into it over on this other tab.
But
pretty much, yeah. Just like the other phone that I've looked at is called the Above phone, and the only thing about it is because like the person you're talking to has to have one too for the conversation to be totally private.
Oh, okay.
The way I understand it, and I could be wrong, but is that if you have an encrypted phone, then I think they can't listen to what you're saying, but they can still listen to the other person if they don't have an encrypted phone. I think
that would make sense, because it's different technologies. That would make sense to me.
It's different technologies. That would make sense. Just funny.
Yeah, but it is like from $500 to $800.
Okay, I did find the website for that thing he's talking about, so I'm looking at it.
Depending on which one you want to get.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that might be another.
Go beyond 5G with global satellite coverage, it says.
Another thing I could throw you an email on that if you want.
For sure. Yeah, no, please. And anyone out there, if you know anyone who's selling anything, that's kind of what the sovereign marketplace is for. So as you guys develop your programs, we can market it for you. You have a directory.
This website looks, and I'm not saying it is, I'm not going to say this isn't a thing, but it very much feels like the website is geared toward the conspiracy-minded. It doesn't feel like a product that is trying to stand on its own as just, look, we're a cool satellite phone. It very much feels like it is intentionally marketing itself as, you can avoid 5G, you can avoid these various conspiratorial things, and I feel like products that are, I don't know, good don't feel the need to do that. The fact that it's marketing so specifically towards conspiracy theorists makes it smell grifty to me. And again, I am not saying that this phone doesn't exist. Satellite phones exist. I'm just wondering if it's someone who is effectively buying the cheapest satellite phone they can possibly find, repackage it, and then sell it to people, primarily based on conspiratorial marketing. I don't know that to be the case, but that's my initial hypothesis, let's say. Dave M1, thanks for, 2,000 bits. Thank you. Saving the hype train and being incredibly generous with your bits. Thank you. Wow.
Listing on there, or just the product or service that you're selling.
Kind of like the Patriot phone, yeah.
Also, other like-minded groups. We just kind of want to become a funding, basically. And my background is sales and marketing. As everyone knows, I come across like a salesman all the time. So that's where I really want to get involved in all the different medicines out there, products. Same thing, how they're starting to try and regulate vitamins and shut that down. I plan on getting into all.
How dare they try and regulate things that people put in their body?
That as well.
You want to test if my claims are true before I sell it to the public? Goddamn government overreach. Me not being able to scam the public unimpeded. This is literally a 1984. Profane Priestess, what do you want me to wear for the hats off?
And just anything that basically supports independent living, independent lifestyle, health, nutrition, sovereignty, anyone in any walk of life who basically has something of value to offer that's in line with the principles of the movement and all the different things there. So, yeah. And other than that, how are you doing, Kirk? Good?
Well, yeah, except I just got some disturbing news about Riner Füllmich. He was arrested on Friday the 13th while trying to renew his passport. He was detained at an embassy in Mexico and escorted back to Germany.
Okay, so he's back in Germany now, though? Like, they just basically deported him and he's free and walking around? Okay. That's obviously, that's crazy. Like, he's the last guy in the world they should be arresting.
Burger King crown?
I mean, that's just bizarre. That's how crazy...
We can do Burger King crown. We haven't had that one in a while. See? Marcel might be a judge, but I'm the queen.
Crazy these guys are. They're just going bananas. Like, they'll do anything.
Oh shit, Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 3. Thank you. You've been doing a lot of gift subs lately. Thank you. I just want you to know I've noticed that. You've been dropping a ton, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Coming for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows about them anymore?
Yeah, and for anyone that's maybe not aware, I'm sure everyone is, but Riner Füllmich, he's the gentleman, he's an attorney who's entered into Supreme Courts around the world, the case law to go after the vaccine injury and it being a war crime and all that
fuck
stuff.
off.
So he's definitely
It is not. It has been years. It has literally been years since you people started with this nonsense, and none of the things that you have been scaremongering about have come to be. Billions of people around the world have been vaccinated and boosted, myself included, multiple times. It's fine. More than fine. It's amazing. Vaccines are one of the greatest technologies that humans have ever created. Please stop. Please stop what you're doing. You are harming yourself and others. You are harming society at large. And it's frustrating watching people do that based off of ignorance and misinformation. Please stop. Just in general. That's not just a plea from me, but like every decent person. Chill out and stop thinking you know everything. Please. Just stop.
hero in our time, and he's one of the few attorneys.
And then Hannah on the mean Hannah on the panel goes, fuck you. And that's why mean panel Hannah got canceled.
That did the right thing as everything was happening in that. And
can you put his name in the chat, please?
Yes.
And Kirk, did you just find out today that he got extradited?
Yeah, I just found out because
her sweater looks super comfy and I want it.
I sent them an email asking if if Riner would interview Marcel, and I think it was a gal here that got back to me. She said, well, thank you for your suggestion. I forwarded it to our strategy team. It seems to me that you have not yet heard the Dr. Füllmich's arrest. You haven't heard about it. And then there's a link to click on. So, yeah, it's really...
yeah, so they set him up because they got his passport somehow, so he had to go get a new one. And they had 6 guys waiting for him because it's illegal to extradite him out of Mexico. They have no extra.
What do you mean it's illegal to extradite him from Mexico? I'm pretty sure the Mexican government can decide who they want to extradite.
Addition.
Oh.
And they kidnapped him and threw him on a plane and took him to Germany.
Who are we talking about here?
But so is he?
Let's see, Riner Füllmich. Is this guy going to turn out to be like a neo-Nazi? Am I gonna Google this and then be really disappointed that they're trying to defend this guy? Let's find out. Let's look him up. Riner Füllmich is a German lawyer and spokesman for the Stiftung Corona Ausschuss, a non-government investigative committee based in Germany. He allegedly played an important role in providing the Volkswagen emission scandal, or rather, proving the Volkswagen's emission scandal and successfully sued Deutsche Bank in a few small mortgage cases where he previously worked. In 2020, Füllmich and his colleagues began documenting what they considered to be a violation of the law, medical malpractice. So they're just, like, anti-vaccine people now? What was he arrested for, specifically? In September 2022... Okay. In September 2022, Viviane Fischer, a partner with Füllmich, Mitch, whatever, on the, quote, Corona Investigative Committee, alleged Füllmich had embezzled funds raised for the committee by overbilling for his legal services. Denying these allegations, Füllmich claimed they were politically motivated in order to sabotage the committee in its investigation of so-called deep state involvement in the global COVID-19 response. I didn't embezzle money. It was the deep state. Is the deep state in the room with us right now? An arrest warrant was issued in March 2023. Füllmich was in Mexico. Füllmich was detained at the German consulate in Tijuana, October 13th, 2023, during a passport replacement appointment. Claiming to be unaware of the outstanding warrant, he was flown to Frankfurt and arrested. His organization claims that the Berlin DA's office stated that there was no cause for criminal investigation. His organization certainly claims that. That's a weird thing to end on, though, considering their organization doesn't get to decide what's worthy of investigation, specifically and especially not in the case of themselves being investigated. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 43 months, has been listening to the VODs while working Nutcracker. Thanks. I hope getting ready for the show's going well. Anyway, so it appears that the guy that they're mad about basically allegedly embezzled money, and they think it's a politically motivated witch hunt.
In jail, or is he walking around?
No, he's in jail over in Germany, I'm pretty sure. Or
Yeah, really.
I think they extradited him back to Germany, right?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
says here. I just got it now, so I haven't
But
gone through it all.
it's against the law because they can't extradite him out of Mexico, so they kidnapped him.
Wait, why do you think they can't extradite him out of Mexico? I don't even understand why you think that. He was arrested during an appointment where he was trying to get a new passport, and they realized he had a warrant, so they arrested him and extradited him. That's all legal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He'll find that out, and he'll probably lay counter charges regarding that as well.
Oh yeah, well that's why they were in Mexico.
What counter charges?
So, you know.
I know I'm trying to read like logic into this. It's sovereign citizen stuff. They think every arrest is illegal in a kidnapping sometimes, so of course they think that, but it's just, even for them, this feels baseless.
And then one thing I'll mention on that is that's the problem with the legal system and it being the legal courts. That's why it's so important as the movement gets bigger and all of us get more organized.
Oh, duh. He was in a German embassy. Embassies are considered the soil of the country that it's the embassy of, generally. So if you're German and you're in Mexico and you're in the German, like embassy, you can get arrested and sent back, because, like, you're basically legally in Germany when you're in the German embassy. That's also a thing.
That the experts in law or the people comfortable start doing the private law community courts under sovereign.
Like that time Zoidberg took reference in the embassy when he ate the American flag. Earth flag. Sorry, the Earthican flag.
Who
says animated sitcoms don't teach you things?
I got taught by David Harper, the Grand Chief of the Cree Nation. They actually...
Who's the guy behind Marcel? That's Marcel. He's playing videos of his lectures behind him, so his background is just him.
They have sovereign Indigenous courts in the law courts building in Winnipeg, but they have their own separate room, and it's under their own sovereignty. And that's the thing that any private law society has the power and authority to do, to hold juries and grand juries. And those judgments, if they're done correctly, can be entered into the legal system for enforcement against themselves. And if they fail to do that within so much time, you can actually get international law to start going after the actual judges and clerks. And that's where Robert Ritzman, there's a video on Peacemaker Animal Sanctuary on the YouTube channel we have, where he actually goes through and explains that process and how to do that. Because there's very little remedy in the legal system. The Supreme Court of Canada is not going to help. The legal courts on a provincial level aren't going to help. If they admit to any of this, they're admitting to their own fraud. So you can do equity court, that's somewhat effective. But long run, we need to have our own court system established, and then eventually...
You can't unilaterally establish your own court system, because what you're effectively doing if you're trying to establish your own independent judicial system is claiming that you have sovereignty from the territory that you exist within, in this case Canada. So you would have to literally secede from Canada and expressly say, hey, you don't have power over us. And you know what happens then? You'll actually have to back that up. And that doesn't go well when you're just some random guy. Like, look at the Teos guy. The Teos guy who also wanted to start his own country involving his own courts. He was arrested in Canada recently. He already has like 18 months in prison just for contempt charges. The trial hasn't even happened yet for the actual things he's being charged with for the Teos stuff. He has over a year in prison just from contempt so far. Do you think that the courts of Canada in any way, even though he said he had established his own courts and that he was a chief justice of those courts, does that mean anything now that he's arrested and already is going to be in jail over a year before he's even actually gone to trial for the other stuff? No. You can say you're you can say that you are a court and that you have your own independent judiciary all you want. If you can't back it up and defend that statement when the state comes knocking on your door and saying, we disagree, then it doesn't count, right? It's a little bit like when I see sovereign citizens who get pulled over for having fake or non-existent license plates, and they're like, well, I've been driving around like this for a year. Your sovereignty and proof of your sovereignty from some government doesn't exist in the absence of observance and conflict with said government. If you're existing in the woods in the middle of nowhere and no one knows you're there and you claim you have a country, do you really? No. What defines you having your own independent sovereignty, your own independent judiciary, your legal system, whatever you're saying, is it being recognized by others and standing up to conflict with other entities like the Canadian government. Which you can't, Marcel. You've already been arrested by them too before. So clearly you don't have any power here.
Enforce it, and until we're big enough to enforce it ourselves with correct, peaceful...
I've never heard him comment on the Queen of Canada. Queen... What is her name? Queen... Romana Didulo. I've never heard him mention her.
Obviously, you can get the legal courts to enforce against themselves.
Yeah, well,
he had to come back and renew his passport. That's and they were just waiting for him.
Well, and that's where again, if you use the sovereign ID, you don't have to renew that, and it can act as a passport. So,
no, it can't, Marcel. It cannot do that because it does not have any legal weight to do so. Passports are legal documents that exist as physical objects, sure. Like stock can exist as a physical object, right? Like a piece of paper that says, this is one common share of Bed Bath & Beyond, or what other company, random example. The important thing is what that actual paper or document represents. In the case of a passport, it is representative of a agreement between multiple nations allowing free movement of their citizens from one place to the other. So like a United States or Canadian passport, it has your information in it that proves who you are, but primarily outside of the identification, it says, hey, this is representative of the treaties or agreements that exist between our two nations. Please let this citizen, whose identity is proven herein, into your country pursuant to the agreements that we have. If there's no agreement, the passport means nothing. Like even an American passport, an American passport is one of the passports that lets you into the most countries without needing a visa, I believe. It's like the top ones I think are US, Canada, UK are the passports that have the ability to get you into the most places easily. But that doesn't mean it gets you in everywhere. And if you have a passport from a country that doesn't have those agreements in place, it means nothing. Like if I'm an American and I have a US passport and I want to get into, I don't know, some country that doesn't like the US and doesn't want to accept the passport for that purpose, it doesn't matter. And you're that times 1,000, because no one has agreements with your country because you don't have a country. It's a thing you made up in your head.
So that's again where the more empowered you become in your own systems, the less you have to enter theirs. Because if they know where you are, like Riner Füllmich, there's no reason they should be going after.
Yeah, the UK, I guess that makes sense being less now considering Brexit.
After him, except for they're criminals, and he's not. And so by the fact of, and I'm not picking on him, I love the guy, I think he's such a hero, but if you're operating in sovereignty in the private, it's much harder for them to know where you are or what you're doing, because your address isn't in there, they don't know where you are until you're there doing it. So like they have this.
Again, that's not legal power, that's just hiding. That's just hiding.
6 officers there waiting for them. If you're not going in and they don't know you have an appointment, it's harder for them to have somebody sitting there waiting for you. Still might happen anyway, but privacy is your best friend. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, he had discovered that what you just said about the corruption in the justice system right to the top. So he found
Isn't it always interesting how people who have recently been arrested are always the ones who claim that they've discovered corruption in the justice system right to the top? Wow. This guy and Donald Trump have a lot in common.
Tribe in Australia, the Maori, who had never ceded in any way to the British Crown or that authority at all, the monarchy. So he was going to go down that road there with doing the judgments and so on.
Wonderful. No, that's absolutely awesome. And there are a bunch of unceded First Nations in Canada as well, and territories that never signed any treaties. And I'm in touch.
Why does corruption never go right to the middle? See? And that's why I'm so incorruptible. Because it never goes right to the bottom.
With a variety of them. And those are some of the interviews I'll bring forward in the next few weeks or few months. As fast as I can.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because I'm in touch with a lot of amazing experts. So where before they were interviewing me, now I basically want to become a podcast or a platform to interview them, and then also pepper what I understand and question to help understand what they have, if there's anything they're missing, and talking to enough experts, you'll get enough overlap.
I thought my wife was sending me something nice about what I just said. It wasn't. Can I say what you just texted me? Yeah. I literally I got a notification for a text right after I said that, and it's from my wife, and it just says, "You are insufferable." Fair.
help them in their work. It'll help us understand their work and the public understand their work, and then also how we can interact with all of them with the processes that we have for whatever people need. Because I get reached out to by First Nations all the time. Usually the conversations are private, obviously, though, and confidential, but that's why I want to start doing a show platform with them to give them, you know, a way to reach out, and also just to help.
Don't play with the lament configuration. Not for kitties. Oh.
With everyone understand the credibility, because so many people out in the public think the processes that are happening are crazy or crooked or don't work somehow, and they absolutely work, and there are enough experts in enough areas doing it where they are having success. Now it's just a matter of putting that all into one big soup that everybody can just taste that soup and see it and gather more.
Taste the soup.
They can just taste that soup. Absolutely work, and there are putting that all into one big soup that everybody can
metaphorical soup,
can just taste that soup and see it and gather more strength from it, basically.
Yeah, do you know Amanda
forbidden soup of strength, you say?
Vollmer?
Doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head.
Yeah, she's Canadian. She's she has the Yummy Doctor. She's a doctor of you know, homeopathic and so on.
Oh, so not a doctor?
As his website. I should send you the her Substack that she just wrote here today, because it's really good. Talking about her she was going to speak at some conferences, and how her and her partner were refusing to go through the scanner at the airport, and how, you know, the attendant would yell at the top of their lungs, "We have 2 opt-outs here," you know, to embarrass you, ridicule you. And
they gotta alert someone to come and pat you down or whatever. Like, not everything's about you and your narcissism. Sometimes people just gotta yell to get someone to come to a job because you're deciding not to go through the scanner.
All that.
I know who she is. She's a fighter, boy. You don't want to mess with her.
I love listening to her too. So then I was just reading her fee schedule, and because she put that in there as well, and it's quite interesting.
It's amazing how all the sovereign citizen types have fee schedules, and I've never seen any of them post any proof that anyone has ever been successfully charged using these fake fee schedules.
She has her fee schedule laid out in
Baja says, "Peace, tell Chad I love you." She loves me, Chad.
999, like if it's 300.999 silver dollars, right? That would, like, for the infractions and so on, or 1,500 for something else. And
very
so
cool.
Pretty interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah, she makes all her own creams.
She loves me, Chad. She was saying she loves me. She wanted me to tell you she loves you, but like me.
And stuff like that for medicine and that. It's pretty neat. She has her own shop, I think, up in Northern Ontario.
Is that where? I thought she was more central. I thought she was in Alberta, but I could be wrong.
No.
Yeah.
No, as far as I know, she's in Ontario.
She
I could be
went to
wrong
school
with it,
here.
pretty sure.
Yeah, she's in Ontario.
She what?
She went to school here in Alberta, but she is in Ontario.
Oh, okay.
She's out of Ontario, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So
Had to get off her.
Go ahead, sorry.
What?
I heard someone talk, but I didn't hear what they said.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just kind of chime in there. So if anybody else has anything that they're wondering, questions, if you're at a certain point of the process, if you've had a success recently you want to share, anything on your mind, if you're just having fun in the process. This is just basically, these meetings are really just for us all to kind of interact and chat. And if you have questions or things you're wondering, or you know, you're at a certain point.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one. Do we use our, I know when we open our account at the bank or whatever, we're using our home address. Like I know
If your bank asks for that.
We don't really want to give them our information, right? So I just wondering, does it
Okay, but legally, if the bank needs your address, they need your address, because that's the law.
matter?
Basically, what I recommend for people to do is rent like a UPS post office box, but you want to get one that allows you to use the physical address rather than the PO box, just because.
God damn it.
On things like bank accounts, they won't accept it as a PO box. They have to have a physical address.
Yeah, and trying to get around that doesn't make it legal. All you're doing is giving fake information. Like, you're literally expressing why they don't accept P.O. boxes, because they want the physical address so they know where you live, or at the very least where you live sometimes, I guess, if you're the kind of person that has multiple houses. How can you both express why you shouldn't be doing this and then also how to get around this in the same sentence and not even flinch?
Now,
tell them you're Rusty Shackelford.
Now, for some people, when they're starting their society, money's a little bit tight. So when you're first starting, if your home address is already on all your government ID, then there's no real harm if you're going to use it initially for that. But long run, as you're going, once you have some success, you got a program up, you start to make some money, you figure out what your membership's going to be, you have some members, some money's coming in. Or if you just have enough that you're successful enough where you're at in your own journey already, it's a good idea to have.
Guess you're fucked if you have no house? Yep. There's a lot of things in society that are like that require you to put in some sort of like stationary address for legal purposes, and there are people who don't have that. It sucks. It's a problem.
Have one. Just because then once you have that, that's what you update. Any government ID, like corporate slavery government ID that you have, you would put your society.
Hey, fun fact, government IDs aren't slavery, and you shouldn't cheapen the word slavery by referring to driver's licenses.
Society address on there. That's what you would put if you're doing your taxes, even if you have no tax or most of your money is going through your society, but you're still participating. Basically, anything you're participating in the legal system for, you ideally want to switch over to your society address, which is not your home address. Some people might use an actual office. Some people might use a PO box. But at some point, that is a good idea. But if you're tight right in the beginning and your home address is on all your government ID anyway, then there's no harm in using your home address for now, and you can always change that later. The only thing is, if you change it later to get private, you need to move, because otherwise they're going to know where it's at. Okay. Or you can just update it and make it seem like you moved, but if you're at the same spot. For me, I've tended to move once or twice a year just for work and whatever I'm up to. So for me, it hasn't really been a big deal to update it and change it. But if you've been in the same home for 30 years, you're probably not going to want to move. So you can still update it all to the society address, update all your ID to the society address. So at least then your home address isn't what's on file going forward, even if you're still there.
Okay, thank you. So even, driver's license, everything, change all the IDs?
Yeah, absolutely. Once you have your
Okay.
UPS address or you're renting an office of some kind or just have access to a different address, there are virtual offices too that you can do it for $50 a month. They'll let you use it as, like, Regis in Canada is one. I think there's actually Regis is all over the world. We used them for a while. We were renting office space there too, but they do have just like a mail secretarial package that's like 50 or 30 or 50 or $80 a month. Just look up virtual offices or a UPS office, or there may.
This seems like a lot of work to just try and not give your address to people. Like, I understand that some people might have a fundamental anxiety or level of discomfort with the fact that we live in a really complicated society where we're all dependent upon each other, and there's this weird distance where you both are very intimately connected with other people in the sense that we, do have to give our information to companies and businesses and governmental entities for basic societal functions, and those things are hypothetically available to human beings who are just individuals like you or me, who are probably just normal people doing their job, but there's also that level of distance and anonymity that you don't know the other 8 billion people on this planet, so it's kind of scary knowing, oh my god, my information is just out there. So I understand why that might cause someone some sort of, like, concern or general anxiety about how the world is both very close and very isolating at the same time. This is not the solution. Committing fraud is not the solution, and trying to concoct fantasy worlds where you're the king of a fake country isn't going to solve the issue, because it's not an issue of definitions, it's an issue of, like, material condition, and trying to define yourself out of that is just going to make you go in circles. It's not going to help you. Peoplelord says driver's licenses aren't slavery, but they are arson and bigamy, and taxes are FAA violations. This parking ticket is incest.
Do you think flex?
Yeah, we can all just say things that don't make sense. Yeah, yeah.
In Canada, post flex delivery.
Dr. Gamble says, missed my bits. Also, they're using the internet. Their address is already out there. Ever heard of IPs? VPNs can only go so far. Dr. Gamble had said, this is bonkers. These guys would think putting your name on a first grade spelling test would be like signing a contract. Yeah. Everything's mystical.
Delivery would be okay. I know you.
The only
get
thing
your
with
mail
Canada.
delivered.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the.
Oh. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to move this up. There we
The flex delivery, but I know if you rent a PO box from them, they list.
Baja has been making jewelry. She made me these. It's a little hard to see.
It is a PO box, so you cannot put that on a bank account.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only real
Okay.
limit. I mean, on ID, if you live in a town, they use PO boxes and stuff, so you can probably get away with that for like legal ID. But for your actual bank account, they won't let you use that.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. I tried to.
What do you mean they won't let you, Marcel? I thought you were a sovereign judge and everyone was fucked. Are you telling me you can't tell other people what to do?
I went ahead and got a post office box here, one that you don't have to put the post office box. But
Oh, there you go.
But the thing is, the banker, when he saw the address, he said, "Oh, that's a post office box." He said, "That's up on Summit Plaza," so he knew that it was a post office box. He said, "You can't, so you won't be able to use it." So I ended up using Marcel's as a temporary one.
Yeah, and that's something too. If it's initial and you don't have an address set up, we're fine with if you use ours initially.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Did Marcel just say that you should use his address to fraudulently put on a application for a bank account? Isn't that gonna send, like, official bank documents and statements to Marcel's address? Like, your bank information is gonna get sent to Marcel? You comfy with that? I wouldn't be.
Like our Henderson Highway address there. If you need to, we're happy to extend that just as a courtesy. So,
as a courtesy, I'll let you send all your banking communique to me.
And then we can always have your mail
What could
forwarded
go wrong?
to you at a different address.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you betcha. And one thing I want to mention too is we have people opening up bank accounts, and one of our members just literally had a guy who was telling him false information. He was trying to say he needed a bill from a utility or something in order to open the account. That is not true. Another gentleman is opening up a bank account with the credit union right away. And
what do you mean that's not true? It might be true for that bank. Like, even if it's not a legal requirement, the bank has its own personal interest in making sure you're not committing fraud when you sign up for an account. So it might just be their policy that in order to open an account, you have to have some sort of utility bill or something in order to prove not only like an address, but that you actually reside there and that you have some sort of connection to this property, that you live there and it's not just a fake address. Even if that's not a law, that bank might have that requirement.
They told him he needed 2 people to sign on the account, when as signatory, you only need yourself. So
Spokane Dogman postulates that he is trying to lay groundwork for stealing these persons' money by saying it's the right address but wrong name and use his name as the true account holder name. That's certainly an interesting hypothesis. He's never been caught for anything like that, so if that is his intent, it's pretty stupid of him, because he's literally on camera, on the internet, on this YouTube video, saying to do this. And to be clear, just because I said that's stupid, I didn't say that's not true or impossible. It just would be stupid. But it's not impossible.
You're going to run into little things from time to time, but that's where we just keep working past it. We have contacts at TD, or I can always speak to the bank or whatever as well. And usually if you get told something false like that, if you correct them, they'll go to the superiors and then they'll find...
Correct? You're not correcting them. If that's what they need for their business, it's what they need.
Know the right answer and come back and figure out that you don't actually require another signature. And as long as you have some form of ID in the paperwork, that is in fact enough to open up the bank account and that. And
I'm very excited, by the way, chat. My Doctor Who Blu-ray set of all of New Who is coming tomorrow. It's one of only 6,000 they produced. That's amazing. And I'm so excited.
And yeah, there's...
Yeah.
They remastered the first 4 seasons in crisp 1080p or 1080i, whatever the good one is.
My experience is whoever you're talking to in there usually don't know nothing about these accounts, right? They just used to checking, savings, regular incorporated accounts and stuff like that. So they have to go to somebody a little bit higher up to get the proper info, right?
Yeah. But they're definitely...
I did watch Doctor Who last night. Without spoilers, I thought it was really fun. It was cool to see, you know, David Tennant in the role again. Although you can tell this version of that version of the Doctor. It's almost like the 10th Doctor, but older and matured. You know, he still has all the memories and experience of 11, 12, and 13. So you can tell he's kind of dealt with his vanity issues, his trauma, his hubris. And he just seems like a much more balanced, healthy, open version of 10. It's pretty nice. I enjoyed it. And it's always good to see Donna. I love Donna.
Really learning. We keep sending more and more people.
Sure, Profane Priestess.
So it's, you know, within a year or 2 years,
Yeah.
it should be pretty commonplace for them. So, and I've also asked one of the contacts I have at TD, because they keep trying to get everything onto where you just call a phone number and they do it all virtually. So I've asked him if they have a specific rep that we can refer all of our people to in Canada and the States on an ongoing basis, because I just expressed the frustration that we keep getting told things that aren't correct. And then I have to get, you know, him or someone that we have a relationship with to sort it out. So rather than getting random people all the time, if we can just get, you know, 1 or 2 reps who know how this process works and that we can just send people to. So I just sent him that email tonight, so I'm waiting to hear back from him on that. So,
oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. And
yeah, I had a call from my rep here, PD here, and he said that his superiors sent a thing down to him wanting more information on the KYC, know your customer type thing, about like where's the money coming from, what are you going to use it for? And I tried to be as vague as I could. I just don't know about the door-to-door thing and
yeah,
you know, food drives and stuff.
And you can also tell them you're a membership-based organization, that there may be products, services, or programs that are run, but it's for a minimum gift for whatever that service is.
That if I'm at a bank and I hear that, I'm gonna go, oh my god, my fraud alarms are going off. That was so vague.
If you're putting
and they're clearly trying to avoid this being a taxable purchase by calling it a gift This is screaming like maybe investigate.
50.1% or more money back into the society or the programs, you qualify as a nonprofit. So you can let them know if you're setting it up that way that you are a nonprofit. You don't have to be. You could set it up where you're for profit and you just keep all the money. That's completely up to you. But nonprofit will generally get you more support from the public in that. And it also has a bunch of advantages for discounts for different bank accounts and stuff. So those are kind of the answers that you can give when they ask you those kind of things. And just let them know.
He's absolutely not considering like tax considerations at all. It's like he thinks these labels are arbitrary for marketing purposes as opposed to actually having to do with the internal functioning of the organization and what happens with the money.
That you're setting up, you know, community programs or you have products that you'll be marketing, but within that it's all meant for the betterment of society and community and all that kind of stuff. And once they know,
non-profit doesn't inherently mean good. Oh my god, like non-profit just means that it deals with its income and revenue differently, and therefore it has different tax burdens. Like, it feels like you think that these are more about an ethos, and like there is an economic ethos difference between our intent is to become profitable and then take that profit and, you know, have people become enriched from that. Shareholders, equity holders in some way are going to make a profit from that with no, you know, intended cap on that. Whereas a non-profit, the intent is any money that comes in is going to get like reinvested into either helping people or whatever the primary function of the non-profit is. But like non-profits can be shitty. Like that doesn't mean that it's just a good thing.
So that then they tend to relax a little bit more on that stuff. And we were successful even in joining the Chamber of Commerce in Winnipeg at one point, as an unincorporated association and society. We've also done contracts with major utilities where we've had them hire entire sales forces using the independent contractor agreement that you guys all get with your founding documents and that. So it's all been tested. It all definitely works. It's just a matter of people not being familiar with the process. And then with you guys being new, you may not have the answer at the tip of your tongue for them. But that's what I'm here for. You know, anything you guys need, it's my job to make sure you have what you need to succeed. So feel free to bug me.
Oh, Profane Priestess says, I just finished my application to one of the most prestigious schools in my state. It was the first college in my state to desegregate, which it did voluntarily, and it's one of only a few schools still operating in the South that was chartered before the Civil War. Well, I wish you all of the luck. Seriously. Good luck with that. I know that, like, sending in applications for schools and things can be very, like, anxiety-inducing, but I wish you all of the luck.
Yeah, I've literally bunkered in now, so I'm just waiting for the phone to ring so I have people to talk to about stuff. So know that you're not bothering me if you need help. Okay. And how is everybody doing? You guys all doing okay? Life's treating you all right?
So I have a question regarding TD.
Please, yes.
Sorry, it's a bit of a lag. I bank with TD. So in terms of an address, how does that work? If they, I mean, obviously they have all my information. I've been with them since the 80s. So if I'm opening up an account that is not a regular account, how does that work in terms of the address? Because they know my address.
Yeah, and see, for something like that, if it's one of two options.
He's probably going to say go to a different bank or move.
First of all, opening a society, there's no danger with that. Running programs, there's nothing you really have to worry about with that you have to be super private. Unless you're going to start doing courts or billing police or billing judges, if you're going to take a front end stand as an advocate and challenge the system, that's when privacy is going to be more important. So for you pretty much have the choice. If you just want to use your home address, you can. You know, you're not doing anything that's putting you in danger. Or you have the option of getting a virtual address and switching your address in the entire system. So those are kind of the two options there. For me, the privacy was important. Because keep in mind, when I did this, I was in the weed industry before it was legal. So I wanted to be private.
I knew it!
Challenging police.
I called that, to be clear, remember when I said? I'm messing with the thing to try and fix the white balance, by the way. That's why things are going weird. I called that shit. Remember when I said, and people were like, how does he make money? And I was like, I bet he's growing and selling weed illegally. Just saying. Called it.
We were working with Cop Watch. We were following police, recording them, billing Crown agents, billing judges. I went hardcore all the way, so my privacy was very important. But if all you're doing is running the equivalent to a normal business as a society program, you're just not, you're doing your society so you don't pay income tax or getting out of some debt or just holding title to your property.
You should pay income
tax.
You
don't really have to hide for any of that.
Because,
not that privacy is hiding.
Laws.
The system is criminal. Privacy is good to have either way. But I wouldn't be too worried about it from a society perspective initially. But privacy is a good idea, because if they decide to have crazy mandates and if they ever do decide to round people up or do any of that, it is good for them not to have your home address.
Yikes.
But with any luck, we're a few years away from that, and hopefully never.
A few years, just a few though.
But that's a good question.
You could technically just give them another address for the society, couldn't you? Because it's a different entity. It's not you.
But...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Let's see. Spokane Dogman says, my roommate and I watched 2 of the 3 episodes on escaping twin flames. 10 minutes into the first one, it checked all the boxes on the bite model, so yikes. I haven't watched it yet. It looks interesting, though. And also, did you know that the guy who came up with the bite model is a wackadoo now? I haven't covered that, because I think if we cover the thing that he's doing that's so funny, I might just giggle the entire stream, and I don't know if I'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, and you could leave your home address there and then have a separate society address.
I'll leave it at that.
Technically do that too. I think, Terry, you're just asking if it's worth it to get the separate address, basically, like if that expense is worth your time kind of thing or not.
Yeah, well, I'd actually like to not want my address. I don't want I don't want the system to have my address, period. But I mean, they've got it.
but that's where that's where
my address.
Yes, Red Werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where you can.
All right, I gotta talk about it because it's funny. Okay. So the guy who came up with the bite model somehow got convinced by TERFs that a very specific genre of fetish porn is responsible for trans people existing. And it's very funny. Which is why I can't cover it, because I'll just laugh the whole time. Anyway.
You can update it and change it.
Sounds like a Patreon extra.
Right, so if you get the society address...
Yes, Phoenix. Yes, correct.
And then you can just make that your address for everything. And all you tell them is your society is its own law firm.
So, for those who don't know, within, like, trans femme spaces, there are often memes about that kind of shit. Because, frankly, it's funny. It's funny. And also, I think even, what was her name? ContraPoints did a video on how there's a phenomena in the trans community where sometimes trans women, before they've come to terms with the fact that they're trans, are interested in this specific genre of fetish, and then generally once they come out, they grow out of it and are like, oh, because they don't actually want to be feminized, they want to be feminine. And pornography like that, like a lot of fetish pornography, I think, allows people a safe space in order to do certain things that they would feel uncomfortable with otherwise. So in the case of the thing that guy's talking about, it's a lot of stuff about, like, force feminization. That becomes a joke. Again, the idea of, like, force femme stuff is a joke in trans femme communities because a lot of us know that there's a history of people who are just into force femme stuff, when in reality, it's a way of them being comfortable in a sexual situation as feminine without feeling ashamed. Because socially, if you are raised as a boy, as a guy, and you feel comfortable being perceived as or being feminine in sexual or social situations, that's considered shameful. So in order to get into a space where you're comfortable, you have to do, unfortunately, unhealthy mental tricks. Oh, I don't want to be feminine and perceived as a woman. No, I'm being forced. Yeah, that's what's going on. So basically, it's an entire genre of pornography that, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people who I'm sure are just into it as a porn thing, but it also seems like there are some people who get into it and then find out, oh, a thing that I like about this isn't actually the thing. I'm using this as a substitute for the fact that I have gender issues that I'm not dealing with, and then, journey of self-discovery, and they do whatever. But anyway, this guy perceived this as, no, it's a genre of fetish porn that secretly turns men into trans women, and it's very funny. But again, I think I'll just giggle through the whole thing because I can't take it seriously because it's already such a meme on the internet that, like, how am I going to take it seriously, Hydrate. Yeah, like a weird reverse psychology thing. Would be a good way to discuss it, probably. MH Darkbee says, Howdy Hannah, sent you something fun on Discord, had to trim it down, and sadly there's a few silent images of Doug Walker, but I couldn't find the commercial without him. Discord direct message. I'll check it out, thank you. And H. Baird says, forced femme causing trans people to exist is silly. Everyone knows the trans people are caused by blue IKEA sharks. It's true.
So everything goes through your society law firm before it goes to you. And as soon as you explain it that way, they have no trouble changing it. Because you are your own private law, so you have every right to have your documentation or anything get sent to the society address before it goes to you.
That's cool. I did catch that we're recording this. Are we able to have a recording of this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I always record these meetings.
You never liked how wait, what did it say? Never liked how forced femme acts like being female is shameful. And again, I think that's a reflection of how women and femininity are treated as negative things in society. It's a reflection of that.
So I can send you...
Why are we talking about this? I'm trying to intellectualize fucking fetish videos. What am I doing?
The link after, for sure.
Oh.
It's a very silly job. I'm going to turn a fan on.
Okay, all right.
You betcha. And we're on, I set up a new account and I haven't upgraded it yet. So we have about 9 minutes left for our meeting here this evening. I'll make sure I update it. Our other account we had updated, but my Outlook account is full on how many gigs are used. So I can't get new emails to it. And when I tried logging in, they wanted a security password and stuff and I couldn't do it. So that's why we've switched over now rather than my personal one to Private Law Trusts. But I'll definitely upgrade it. Or if you guys really want, I could always just start another meeting after this one. I think I have to wait about 10 minutes before I can do that. But it'll be up to you guys either way. We can do another one if you want, or if that's good for tonight, it's up to you guys.
Well, I'm good. I think I bugged you enough for today.
Never bugging me. No worries. No worries. Does anyone else have any questions or thoughts about their progress or things that are on your mind?
He's so this is what gets me about Marcel, is you'd think, considering he continually pulls people into this, not for long, usually it's a pretty short-term thing when he gets people in this scam and they get annoyed or Marcel ends up blowing up at them and they leave after a month or two, but he continually does bring new people into the scam, and that's not good, but it's also kind of impressive considering he's not charismatic.
Beautiful. Oh, it's tomorrow. Right on. That's excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Right on.
So that's the final stage.
We've done it. We've reached the singularity. Fanny Kagami says, there are some leftists that are weird about the sissy hypno thing, and can I just say I'm a little tired of women telling me how my sexuality works. Trans women were never men, they're women that were raised to be men, but they were women. A lot of the less conversation about men, especially straight men, literally never involves men, and it makes me feel talked over. It's kind of like how trans men often get talked over in trans conversations. Peoplord says, I used to watch loads of Japanese porn till I realized I just have ADHD. Focus joke. Wait. I don't get it.
Wonderful.
I don't think I've heard anything since we used your. No, okay.
Yeah,
So-
no, they never answer back. They'd be
I-
admitting to their own fraud pretty much. So, yeah, and so once you had sent your first letter, how long after that before you got your bank account, and what was that journey like for you?
I sent the first letter, and I had my bank account maybe 2 days later.
Okay, wonderful.
I got right on it, and I went to the credit union first, and they were going to do it, and then they gave me the runaround. So I went to the Bank of Montreal, and I had no problem there at all. It went really well. So
Wonderful. And that's where I'll just comment briefly. So in this journey, a lot of bankers don't understand this type of bank account because not a lot of people do it. More and more are doing it now. But for a lot of them, so like at the credit union.
Oh, was it a pixelated joke? Like focus as in out of focus as in blurry? Okay. Okay.
What kind of obstacle did you run
We got there.
into, or what were they trying to say? Just because this is indicative of what people may go through occasionally, but then we'll talk about BMO and how easy it was.
Because
well,
the
they were
goods are
gonna
out of
do it,
focus.
and
let's not call it the goods. Alright. So Marcel's still doing scams. Good catching up with him. Let's see what else we have, shall we?
A session of every Hey man, guess who it is? It's your boy Lavi Guap. We back in a session of every chill day, rum day, Sunday. I know I've been gone for over 30 plus days. I apologize. A lot of things has been going on in the guy's life. I've been helping a lot of other guys.
We watched Credit Card Fraud Guy like yesterday. He's still doing what he's doing. He's in Houston. He just bought a house, apparently. Haven't heard anything about his ongoing trial. So I don't know. I don't have any, like, interesting updates.
As well, you know, and I've been busy. So my apologies. So what I'm going to come back today with is a banger. When I say a banger, a eye opener, a eye awakener. I'm here to reach, teach, and try not to preach. You feel me? Because a lot of people is dead in the mind. So what you do for the dead, I'm here to awaken the dead mind and put you on some free game that you probably would never know if you never came across a guy like me. But this information is here for everybody. It's here for everybody. What you guys see on the screen right now, it's a typical everyday card, you know, that you need to fill out applications, go to school, medical reasons,
hydrate,
credit reasons, loan reasons, all these type of reasons why we need this card. What we didn't know is when this card was given to us, it had some derivatives in it. It's the reason why we have this card. It's the reason why this card is in your wallet, in your safe, and in your bed, in your mom's pocketbook. It's the reason why this card exists.
It exists as a form of identification for the Social Security system, so that you have an identity number that is used for tax purposes, for taxable income, that is later tied to you still when it's time for you to pull from Social Security. That's literally it, and it now is used basically as your tax identification number. Employers use it because they need it in order to, again, file taxes, because they pay employment taxes for you. That's one of the things that they do. It's not nefarious. It's literally just a way for the administrative state to handle finances, to handle taxes, to keep track of things. It's a bureaucratic tool. It's not nefarious.
But let me tell you what this card was intended and used for. Because this information is not really publicly. But it's getting there. We are awakening. So let's take you back. Let's take back the first time when you first came into existence.
Take you back.
When you came out the darkness into the light.
Take you back.
Which was a portal through your mother, which connected y'all through the umbilical cord to make you alive and breathing, living entity, right? When you come through the waters of your mother, right? You arrive in the hospital, right? And when you're in
I've heard the spiel he's giving before. It's a kind of a pre-prepared thing that they've given before to try and explain the Admiralty maritime law thing that the sovereign citizens like to use. For those who don't know, sovereign citizens will sometimes claim that, oh, the law you're trying to use on me is maritime law, so it doesn't count. But he's butchering the explanation. Someone who's more prepared and charismatic would probably say something along the lines of, what? Oh, you arrive from the canal. A canal like that is used for, I don't know, the transport of ships. The birth canal. You travel through this birth canal along your mother's waters, like a ship. A ship in port makes birth. Your mother gives birth to you from her waters, and they sign a birth certificate, a certificate of your birth from the waters of your mother. See, it's a word game, but he's doing a bad job. Goddamn, the world is really lucky that I am not a shitty person, because it is easy to scam people, and the bar is low, apparently, because I am unprepared and I did a better job than him.
the hospital and you coming through the waters of your mother after your motor water breaks, where you arrive at? The hospital. Who comes and helps with the labor?
The doc.
The doctor. Listen to the words and the semantics right now, please. Just pay attention. Bear with me. When you on a boat and you traveling through the waters, and when you make land, where do you make land at? Where you pull your boat up to?
The dock.
What? To a dock. You traveling through the waters of your mother, and you arrive at the hospital. Your mother arrives at the hospital, and the first person that brings you into this world is what? A doctor. You're traveling across the waters in a boat, and you arrive to the land, which is a hospital, and you arrive where? To the dock. Something ain't right. You're traveling through the waters of your mother. Water breaks. She goes to the hospital, and a doctor helps you come into this existence. You travel across the waters, and you arrive to land. You are met by a doc. So the doc and the doctor has a resemblance, and I'll break it down and tell you why. This is crazy information. This is mind-blowing. This right here is very, 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 it's crazy, man. That's all I can say is crazy. I want y'all to let me know how you feel in the comments. Or if you have information that you already know of the know and you know what's going on, hey, let's build with the minds. So, when you arrive at the dock, after you come through the waters, you arrive at the dock with the doctor, you know, boom, you here. Now, what they tell your mom to do, they tell her to sign certificates. Certificates is known as
certificates of birth.
As a part of a
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do the thing.
Security. And if you notice, the filling of this card, Social Security card, and the birth certificate, they don't feel like regular piece of paper. You know why?
Because they're official legal documents that are supposed to last for a long time, so they're printed on sturdy paper, and also that paper has a ton of security features on it. So it's like really thick cardstock with a variety of layers with different security features on it, like watermarks and special layers that if you look through, you can see strips and things that say different stuff. If you look at it with like a black light or something like that, an ultraviolet light, you can sometimes see different special things on it. Oh, wait, no, you're gonna say something that's bullshit, right? You're gonna call it like a manifest or something? A ship manifest?
Because they're bondages. They're a bond paper.
That doesn't mean anything.
A certificate is a bond. A bind. A bond. It's a bind and a bond. That paper you fill is bondage. You are becoming a corporate slave once your mother or father, whoever, put you in a system with a birth certificate and a social security card.
Yeah, that doesn't track. None of that's true. Black's Law Dictionary request. Panda Man. What do you want me to look up?
Once she signs you over, you know what she does at the dock?
Hopefully get some rest. She just gave birth.
She basically abandons you at sea.
No. Nope. There's no possible wordplay that you could try and use that would justify that statement and make it seem like it's something reflective of what actually happens in a hospital after someone gives birth. Streamer's choice. Ooh. Wow, no one's ever done that before. Thank you. Avant Gardner says, I said my mind is blown at the same time you did. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
And she put you in a corporation as a corporate entity. And this card right here makes you a corporate entity. You are left at sea. Yes, you are abandoned at sea. Right now.
How about this? Here's one for the Bed Bath & Beyond people. They probably need this definition since it's something they're unfamiliar with. Gain, definition. Profits, winnings, increment of value, difference between receipts and expenditures, difference between cost and sale price, appreciation and value or worth of securities or property, excess of revenues over expenses from a specific transaction, frequently used in the context of describing a transaction not part of a firm's typical day-to-day operations. Hydrate. Can't do.
Now, if you have not authenticated yourself and your corporate name, everyone is abandoned at sea. You are abandoned at sea right now as we speak if you have not corrected your status. You are abandoned at sea. Yes, you are. Because when you get a bill in your name, everything in your name, go look at your driver's license. Everything in your name is in all caps letters. If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Not everything. Bills don't necessarily do that. They might. Depends on the company. Because, you know, bills come from a variety of entities, public and private, and all of their different formatting might be different. But in government documents, in the United States at least, typically proper names of people are always in all capital letters. It's not for a nefarious purpose, it's because it is the most legible. So in government document style guides, it is just typical that proper names of people are in all capitals. It's just how they do it. It's legible, it's easiest to read, it identifies it quickly as a proper name of someone. It's literally, once again, just a tool of bureaucracy, and I don't mean that in nefarious ways. For whatever reason, bureaucracy has this, like, taint on it where it seems evil. It has this connotation because so many people, conspiracy theorists, QAnon people, right-wing people in general, have demonized the concept of bureaucracy as if it's bad. No, if you have a very large government, if you have a government at all that's going to be functional, you need a bureaucracy, and these sort of tools aren't nefarious, they make the job easier. They just make society function more smoothly. It's not evil. It's just banal, bureaucratic bullshit.
And if I'm flying, I'm dying.
Shmoop B, thanks for 33 months, says, this dude is painful. Make it make sense, please. I don't think I will. I think I'll leave y'all hanging.
Go look at it right now. Go get any piece of paper.
I have to establish dependence, chat. It's the dentist system. I have to make you know what it's like if I don't explain things to you. You'll be desperate for explanations.
Bondage, certificate, social kit, everything in your name that you get is a bill. Whatever you put in your phone bill, your cell phone bill, your mortgage, your insurance, your driver's license, everything is in all caps name. All caps.
My phone bill isn't in all caps. And in fairness, I pay it online, but it's not in all caps. I go through Verizon. When my name's on the bill, it just, you know, just says my name.
Letters.
At least on the website, I guess. I don't use paper bills for my phone bill because I'm not 93 years old.
All caps letters mean it's a dead entity. It's dead. It's a corporation. United States of government is a corporation. It's not a country. It's not a country.
No, it's a country. Skifazoa says, fake fans, it's nurture dependence. My bad. People order the link. And hats off. What do you want me to wear for the hats off?
That's only 4 minutes from now. Requisition me a beat.
I can't play this. Disney owns it. But I appreciate the reference.
Country.
Everybody say Jamaica. Jamaica. I like that song.
You have been lied to and bamboozled. You have been lied to and bamboozled, and you're acting as a corporation. You're not acting as a living, breathing entity. If you was, your name wouldn't be spelled in all caps. All caps mean it's dead. It's dead. It's dead.
No.
So, every time you see that name in all caps, no, that's corporation. It's commerce. And the first 4 letters in the word corporation is what? Corpse. What is the corpse? Corpse is something that's dead. Look these words up. I am not lying to you right now. If I'm screaming...
Incorrect word etymology is evidence on the bingo card.
My apologies.
We're not actually playing bingo. It's a joke.
I'm very, very, very passionate when it comes to things like this because we've been bamboozled. So, when you get this card, right? This not even yours. This right here does not belong to you. It belongs to the administration.
Smoking Dog Dan says in legal documents, names are often in all caps only to exemplify which persons is the subject of the... which persons is being the subject of and action. For example, if Hannah was suing me for X millions of dollars, your name would be in all caps, and so would mine. Okay. Hydrate. Can do.
Of the United States of America, right? You think this is a regular signature line.
Where did the all caps part of this theory come from? Ooh, the specifics of the origin of this claim. I'll have to try and look it up and get back to you. I want to say, does it have something to do... I don't remember the specifics, but I have a feeling it has something to do with someone probably looked at some legal definition at some point that in some very specific circumstance said something along the lines of, if something is in all caps in a legal document, it means it's a corporation or a dead entity or something. And instead of recognizing that it was within that very specific context of some specific thing, they decided, like sovereign citizens often do, that it applied universally to everything they ever want it to, because if they do so, it'll allow them to act as though no rules apply to them. That's a guess, though. I know I knew at one point the specific origin, but I'm blanking at the moment, so I'll have to look into it.
How they play games.
The quantum grammar guy mentioned it, but I'm not sure if he's the origin of that, because the quantum grammar guy added a lot of specifics to this, but he was not the originator of all sovereign citizen claims. In fact, I'm pretty sure the all caps thing comes from the posse comitatus people.
You get a chance. I ain't gonna tell you.
But I don't remember what their specific reasoning was. I'll look up right now and see if I can find it. Posse comitatus. All caps name. Let's see. Control. Sovereign citizens believe setting up treasury district direct account. Yeah, this article doesn't have the origin either. I'll have to look into it. I'll try and find out, and if you remind me next time, I should have an answer for you. But sometimes specific origins of stuff like that, you gotta dig a little bit to find.
Hey, what this is? When you get a chance, get a magnifying glass, right? And you see this line when
You've seen some sovsits link the caps idea to the capitis deminutio from ancient Roman law. Possible.
Put your signature, when you sign your life over, I want you to get a magnifying glass. This is not a line. This is words. These are freaking words. I am not lying.
Let's see. Whoever puts on this suit accepts the identity of Santa Claus.
To you. And once you find out what these mean, once you see what it is, go Google it. Go and find out what that means, yo. This shit is sad. But I'm here to wake y'all up. This is my purpose on this planet, so I'm gonna do this. So now we got you a corporation. That's why you gotta pay taxes. That's why you pay bills. That's why you work.
You have to pay taxes because you're a part of society. I'm sorry. Welcome to being an adult.
For money. That's why you're a debtor. That's why you're always in debt.
You're always in debt because you keep taking out loans, I'm guessing? I don't know. Again, I get it. Our financial system is real stacked in a bad direction. Things aren't regulated well, and incentive sets exist in such a way that it's a race to the bottom in terms of treatment of employees and people who work for businesses. Meanwhile, at the top, it's a competition to see whose money dick is the biggest. It sucks, but it's not an intentional conspiracy where they're hiding things in lines of your social security card. It's not how it works. It's literally just a bunch of people following poor incentive sets.
You know what I'm saying? When they took the chains, when they took the slave chains off the wrist,
this sucks too. There's a book I want to read, and I'm not qualified to talk about this in any way, which is why I don't really touch upon it, and I gotta read this book. There's a book called I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and it's very specifically like the book about conspiracy theories within like the African American community. And that's because often when we talk about conspiracy theories, and this happens through all discussions of things in society, it's very white-centric. Like, our discussions about things are very surrounded about, like, what is considered, you know, culturally white, usually. And I'm not saying we do this intentionally most of the time. I think we're all doing our best for the most part. But just, you know, historical and social inertia cause us to view issues from a majority position, from a default position, you know, that society has put in front of us. And in America, that's generally the white position. But there is an entire other section of the discussion about conspiracy theories, and that is conspiracy theories as they exist within minority communities. Because the systems of conspiracy, the way people think, of course, is all the same. Race is a bullshit construct, but it does have effects on the way that we have shaped society over time. You know, we've created sort of de facto segregation where people have distinct cultural groups divided by race because of, again, historical, economic, and social discrimination. So within the African American community, there's actually, in the United States, statistically, you are more likely to believe in conspiratorial thinking if you're a member of a minority group. And there's an actual reason for that they've studied, and it's because, shocker, if you're in a situation where you feel, I don't know, distrust towards society, governmental entities, you are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. Now, certainly, there are times when people have mistrust for not very good reasons, but if there's any group that has justifiable reason to have some suspicions about the trustworthiness about governmental entities, people in power, systems in general, it's black people in America. So, unfortunately, as a result of systems not just failing them, but really not even being built to support them in the first place, minority communities have a problem with conspiracy theories, but unlike white communities with conspiracy theories, it doesn't get covered as often, and it sucks. So again, there's this book all about this called I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Haven't read it yet, but it's all about conspiracy theories that are more specific to African American communities, and it seems very interesting. And it tackles a lot with what this guy is saying. There's often relation to that generational trauma of, like, the transatlantic slave trade, of slavery, you know? And that, of course, never healing because there was never, you know, retribution for that. There was never reparations for that, and things were never really solved. So because of that open wound, it leaves people in a more vulnerable state where they're, again, justifiably more mistrustful of government, but justified mistrust can grow into, unfortunately, paranoia that leads you to conspiracy theories like this. It sucks.
Put it on your finances. You're a financial corporate slave. This is how they got us. Slavery is not over. It's still here, and it's used through this.
Yeah, for instance, there was discussion during the COVID pandemic about lower instances of inoculation against COVID in African American communities. And there's, again, reason for that. Look at how medical institutions historically have treated people of color in the United States. The big example that always comes up is the Tuskegee experiments. If you want to even call it that. Jesus Christ. Like, it doesn't make conspiracies true, but when people already have a justified distrust in systems, it makes them more likely to have unjustified conspiracy theories against those same systems. Does that make sense?
It's used through this. Your birth certificate. It's used through this. It's used through the IRS and the debt notes. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. Right now, we focusing on the Social Security card. This right here was your first ever credit card. Yes, I said it.
Nope. It's a Social Security card. Cruelty1, thanks for 23 months. Says sup, not much. How are you? Briar Rose says, Hannah, have you read Debt the First 5,000 Years by David Graeber? It's a really fascinating look at how debt tied communities together and how debts preceded the invention of money. I didn't. That's actually interesting. Thank you. I'll actually save this. I need to have a new, like, section. I've been trying to get into reading again more, and I've been doing an alright job so far. So let me start a new folder, and it'll just be called... Books. There we go. So now I'll have a whole folder. If you guys send me book recommendations, I will save them. Don't all swarm me with them right now in this second, because then everyone's going to be sending me them. Space it out. Or send me a DM or something. Discordant Vol says, Greetings, we talked about the horrors of past medical systems and the seemingly everlasting consequences of systemic bigotry. We were indeed talking about that, yes. Sad topic, but something that comes up in subset discussions, in particular when we're talking about groups that consider themselves Moorish citizens, related to sort of the, like, Black Israelite movement, not directly, but they have sort of a common mythology trying to separate the history of African Americans from the history of the slave trade. It sucks. I know, a lot of what I'm just saying it sucks is, you know, I'm a random white lady. I feel uncomfortable even talking about it, because I feel like I don't have a right to, you know? So I try to tread lightly, you know? I'm trying to, you know, make sure I'm not overstepping bounds here. Kippy says, if my social security number was a credit card, I wouldn't be having such a pain in the ass time trying to get a loan for a house for never having a credit card before, therefore not having a credit score. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be real rough.
Your social security card is
maybe get some, like,
credit
store cards to start out. Just saying, to build a credit history. And, like, for instance, if you got a store card or a card that you could use, like, grocery shopping, and then immediately pay it. Not actually use it like a credit card, but basically buy something on credit, immediately pay it off. Just to build a credit history.
Card. your first credit card. When you was born, and you put your names on this, if you look on the back of this, them numbers that's in red, them numbers that's in red, that's in red, that is an account number. When you was born, they put $1 million in that motherfucker.
No, they didn't. And even if they did, not even. I'm not even going to say even if they did, because it's not a thing that happened. No, they don't. What are you talking about? You think that they give you $1 million just for being born?
That's your account number. And it's worth...
It's not.
Millions.
No.
And there's way to access this. It's called the Associated Trust through the Social Security. I ain't even talking about the birth certificate. I'm focusing on this right now. It's worth millions. Yes, it's worth millions of dollars. But I'm gonna leave that right there. Look at
yeah, this book, Bad Blood, this is about the Tuskegee experiments, right? Yeah, just the Tuskegee. For those who aren't familiar, I imagine you all are. But for those who don't know, the Tuskegee experiments, oh, this is so fucked up. There were scientists who wanted to test syphilis, basically. The effects of long-term syphilis on people. And it was only actually supposed to run, I think, initially for a few months. And the subjects of the experiments were Black Americans who were not informed as to what the study was at all. They were basically just told that they had and were being treated for, quote, bad blood, thus the title of the book about the subject. They weren't informed that they had syphilis, and the doctors basically just observed the syphilis as it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about syphilis, but it is not fun. Neurosyphilis is a nightmare and a horrible way to go. A cure for syphilis came out after the advent of, you know, antibiotics and their widespread use in treating it. However, instead of treating the participants in the experiment to cure their syphilis, the doctors decided, let's just not do that and let the syphilis continue to kill them over the coming decades and ruin their lives, their health, and the health of those around them without telling them they have syphilis and that there's a cure for it. So that happened.
Associated Trust, Social Security, Corpse, Straw Man. Google straw man. I'm gonna leave this right here. This video one, I'll be back.
If you Google straw man, all you're gonna get is like straw man argument.
For video 2, stay tuned. I am not lying. Every day, chill day, rum day. We here.
This is part 2 of that video.
Now this is part 2 to the part 1 video. Your social security card was your first credit card. Let's get some more insight back on the security card. So, remember when I told you you're basically considered dead and lost at sea? When you came through your mother waters and you pulled up to the dock, which was the doctor that brought you into this existence. And 3 days after, your mother was presented with a contract, which was the social security card and the birth certificate, which is actually on bond paper. When she signed your name over to the corporation, because United States of America is not a country, it's a corporation. When she signed you over to the corporation, it was actually for collateral to the Pope of Rome, right? So now,
the Pope of Rome.
You have been signed over as a dead entity, lost at sea.
I always love when the Vatican gets thrown into conspiracies. That's some old school conspiracy shit, you know? That's some horror Babylon stuff right there. It's kind of metal.
And now you have become a corporate slave.
Like when they start bringing the Vatican into it, like that's usually pre-Cold War conspiracy ideas they're pulling in. And that's pretty wonderful.
To the slave, and you're a slave to the Roman Empire now.
Hey, fun fact, the Roman Empire doesn't exist and hasn't for a very long time. So good news, if you're very afraid of the Roman Empire for some reason, you're good. You're fine. At least until after the apocalypse and Caesar's legion rises. I was gonna make a Hail Kaiser joke, but nah, he's a fictional Nazi. Fuck that guy.
Because you're contracted.
I've never even done the quest where you actually get into Caesar's good graces and do the surgery on him in New Vegas. I just always use, like, the ballistic fist, and me and Boone murder him and everyone in the camp. Like, what are you gonna... Really? You're gonna give me a camp full of basically post-apocalypse Nazis? You think I'm not gonna murder them all immediately? It's like the best part.
The Pope of Rome. To the Pope of Rome. You ain't got nothing to do with this country. You slave. You're enslaved. We are enslaved. When I say you, I'm talking about me. When I'm talking about me, I'm talking about we. But, you know, I say us, we, and me because I give you all understanding, but actually, I'm kind of out of the slave mentality. I'm out of the slave contract. So I'm breaking this down for the people that don't know, that need to know, and we all need to know because we need to take back over what was taken from us that we didn't have no knowledge of. We need to give that back. So when you was enslaved, you had no recollect what was going on because you was just a baby. Your parents, they have no recollect what was going on. Their parents and their parents. Generations and generations has been enslaved without our knowledge because we believe, or they want us to believe, that we need a birth certificate and a social security card to go to work, go to school.
You do legally. Like, if someone wants to hire you for a job, yes, they need that information so they can pay employment tax.
School and live the American dream. And
I'm not asking you to believe in the American dream. I'm just asking you to understand that these things don't exist as a part of a conspiracy.
I'm sorry to tell you guys, that's not what these documents are utilized for. They are utilized as collateral. You are collateral. But hold up. Wait a minute.
Wait, are you collateral or are you like the security? That doesn't make sense. Are you the collateral or are you the security being traded?
This document right here that they created, like,
because if it was collateral, it would be a loan. Like, who's getting a loan in this case? If you're collateral?
I said it was a trust fund. Now, the trust fund for the Social Security is called Sesticated Trust. It's a Sesticated Trust. I might be pronouncing it wrong. You know, I went to public school, but it's Sesticated Trust.
Me too.
Yes, I'm going to give you information on it, and I'm going to show you how to spell it out so you can do more research for yourself. It's called the Sesticated Trust.
A Sestuiqvi trust is a fictional concept. It is a temporary testamentary trust.
Oh, Sestuiqvi trust?
First created...
What the fuck? I don't even know what that is, but it's French.
During the reign of Henry VIII of England through the Sestuiqvi Act of 1540 and updated by Charles II.
So, if you have a birth certificate and a social security card and bills come in all capitalized letters, this is what you are. This is what they know you as. This is the natural cage. You are considered a straw man.
Fenekagami says, Hannah, these things do exist as a conspiracy. They're all designed to maintain the conspiracy of capitalism. No, that's not what a conspiracy means. Bad systems that benefit a very few aren't inherently a conspiracy, because that's not what conspiracy means. A conspiracy isn't just a thing you don't like existing. A conspiracy is a very specific meaning. It means, like, people meeting and intentionally all being in on a singular plan to do something. That's not capitalism. Capitalism is a large economic system with a large number of individual actors acting in self-interest. And by self-interest, I don't always inherently mean just selfishness. I just mean whatever their particular interest is. And there are people within that system, certainly, that want to make the system more beneficial to themselves at the expense of others, but that doesn't make it a conspiracy. That makes that a very specific goal that they work towards within a system, meanwhile other people work towards other goals. Again, it's an unmotivated system.
You are the straw man. Now, I'm not going to bore you with my words. I'm going to give you a short 15 to 20-second animated video to give you a better understanding of who you are, which is considered the straw man.
Latin, sorry.
Ah, the government. It loves
Oh, he's just taking this video from a different source.
you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you.
Now listen and pay attention. They wanted to make it easy for us. Listen how they finagle the damn bagel, man. They playing.
Did you just say finagle the bagel? I might steal that. I kind of like that.
Games with us, man. They playing games. Carry on.
You'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name.
Fenny Kagami says, I know, but that's what the conspiracy theorists think conspiracy is. January 6th is a conspiracy. Most of CT's problems are capitalism. Most of CT's. Conspiracy theorist, gotcha.
And lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one.
Now you know why they say he's been dead since day one? Because since you was born from day one, you was signed into...
What's the thing I'm doing? It's a fidget toy. It's called... Oh god. One of you sent these to me. What was the name? There's an Etsy store. Shit.
A contract that left you at sea.
Does anyone remember?
Them capital letters you see, who parking tickets name is in, your bill's name is in, your birth certificate.
Sir, you owe those bills. Alright. I'm gonna move on. I think we get it. He's deep into the conspiracy. Skill Chords! That was the name of it. I remember now. Skill Chords. So on Etsy, look up Skill Chords if you want one. It's basically, I get little things of these with these. They're satisfying. I have a few of them that were sent to me. Skill Chords. Not an ad, they just sent these to me, and they're like really good for my like fidgetiness and just wanting to do stuff with my hands. So I think it's good since they sent them for free to let you know. Skill Chords.
Patrons in as many of you know.
1 second. Moira Soma says, just because I missed Fair Food streams last week, have we watched all of the Pickup Artist reality series episodes? If not, are we going to? We haven't. You've actually been lucky. We haven't gotten back to it yet. We are going to. We might actually... Well, maybe... tomorrow I have electrolysis, so maybe I'll... No. I can't take tomorrow off. I gotta work the rest of the month for sure. Tomorrow, maybe. Tomorrow we'll probably continue with the Pickup Artist, I guess.
I became Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on...
He didn't. He did not. This is the student of David Wynn Miller, the quantum grammar guy. This is his protege.
As many of you know, I became Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on October 4th, 2004.
Well, I became the Chief Justice of the super awesome Solar System Committee, which is higher than your thing, so...
But, due to the latest scams that are being perpetrated upon the people, such as the fake presidential election of 2020 on November 3rd.
Oh, of course he's one of those. That's a shame. That's a shame. Where was he on January 6th? His last video was 3 years ago. Did he do the thing? Is he in jail for doing the thing? He literally hasn't posted on this channel in 3 years. Kinda seems like the timeline lines up, doesn't it, a little bit? Just thought. H. Barrett says, be careful, Hannah. He's a fake judge. We're fake fucked. Almost got me, brain. Almost got me. Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub, and Discordant Vol with 100 bits says, probably casting a spell like a drunk, Azorius Guild Mage. Azorius? That sounds like it's from something. Oh, Moira Soma, thanks for gifting another sub.
2020. I had to prepare the court for probable or possibility of settlements on this fake election that's coming up. So, as Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on September 17th, 2020, I filed this contract here with the U.S. Supreme Court on 1 First Street Northeast, Washington, D.C.
Magic the Gathering.
It was my contract on terms of what makes the Supreme Court a foreign vessel in dry dock, what makes judges judges, my Supreme Court judge's oath that's on file there, and all the...
What is a judge? A miserable little pile of secrets.
All the complementary accoutrements that come with running a court. And these documents were received due to the fact that on October 4th, 2004, that the U.S. Supreme Court judges vacated their judgeships at in Washington, D.C. at the U.S.
Wow, did they? I didn't hear about that. It's pretty amazing all the decisions they've put out since then.
Supreme Court. The reason why I'm bringing this out right now is in this contract that I just mailed out is my pocket-judgment, my pigment-judgment, and I'm maintaining the rules.
He's kind of looks like Derek Savage's brother, doesn't he? Like, if you told me that this guy and Derek Savage were, like, fraternal twins or something, and they just both had kind of wacky ventures, I'd believe that. I kind of feel that. Well, is Cool Cat gonna show up and teach us about the Supreme Court?
Also, the continuance of the evidences as a
Like, he sounds a little familiar, too.
Chief Judge. That is one of the most valuable things that we do to maintain...
For those who don't know who if you don't know who I'm talking about, just something, just anything.
Hi guys, I'm Derek Savage, and I'd like to tell you about a story that just happened about an hour ago. Okay, first of all, here's my brand new film. It's Gun Self-Defense for Ladies. It's a very, very empowering project, and in this project, I actively preach for everyone who is legal to get a concealed weapons permit. And this is how it come down. I just hired somebody off Craigslist yesterday. She was over here today doing the closed caption, the typing. You know, it's a documentary style film, so I don't have a script that we went by as I do in my feature film.
We should probably cover Derek Savage, shouldn't we? How have I avoided this? Probably fear of copyright strikes, but it's Derek. I'm not that worried about it. Adam dealt with it. I think I can deal with it. I think I'm at least as strong as Adam. Adam's a furry. I got this. There he is.
And where is Cool Cat? There he is. And where is Cool Cat?
There he
is.
I'm sorry, Derek the Cool Cat cracks me the fuck up, and Derek Savage is a legend. He's so bad, I love him. Have you guys ever seen his 420 awards? Because we really need to cover his 420 award shows. They're so bad.
Okay, so she's typing, and I'm giving her a ride home. And we pull up to the bank, you know, so I can get some money to pay the woman. And then I can see here's the ATM right here. And then there's a little space, and then the other ATM right when I pull it up. And I saw this big boy.
Oh, P-Meal with a $10 tip says, check out my new book, Cool Cat Travels in His Non-Commercial Vehicle. I'm not driving, I'm traveling!
Coming right toward me. I mean, I just sensed, and I said, oh, we got trouble coming. And by the time I said that, the boy, boom, right at the ATM right there. I just pulled my gun, boom, and I had it under the door ledge, not pointing at his face or nothing like that. And I said, we don't want nothing, you know. And he said, like, you know, got some money? And I said, no, get away. And then he got a little aggressive coming. And this was a big boy. I mean, he was probably about 240, 250, about 23 years old. It'd have been a fight right there. I mean, boy, that size are hard to beat. But, or they can be.
Is this the weirdest guy that's ever been in a Playgirl magazine centerfold? Or is this just what they're all like? Dr. Gamble with 50 bits says, before Neil Breen, there was Derek Savage.
And then he
Sorry. Derek just cracks me up, and I can't believe we haven't covered him more on this goddamn channel. He's so fucking weird.
I smell cool cat. Dirty dog.
Derek, why are you like this? Cool Cat versus Dirty Dog, the Virus Wars. Turkey Tom is a pretty good documentary on Derek Savage's story. Oh my god, it's 3 hours. That's beautiful. The internet's a beautiful place.
Hey guys, what's happening? Got some great news here. The Cool Cat versus Dirty Dog, the Virus Wars feature film will be completed this.
So timely, too. This is a movie he started. It's about the coronavirus. Derek, pretty famously, doesn't stick to timetables very well in his productions. He's a little late for this one to be timely.
This weekend, and it is just so sweet. I'm so happy for it. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. As I stated before, you've never seen nothing like this. Okay, hey, if you want your name in the movie, go to Cool Cat.
Avant-Gardener says, Daddy Derek.
Hi, Cool Cat. My name is Peter, and thanks for saving the world from Dirty Dog. You're so cool, and I love you.
Thanks, Beaver, and I love you too. Bye-bye for now.
Cool Cat, the real hero for the kids, and he's so cool.
Derek, please stop doing all the voices. You're not good at it. Avant-Gardener read that one. Dr. Gamble says, what a legend. I remember the, I Hate Everything, or wait, no. Wait. I assume that's supposed to be Your Movie Suck and I Hate Everything's copyright throwdown? Yeah. Or his. Oh, no, his and I Hate Everything's copyright throwdown. I know that Adam from Your Movie Suck had issues, too. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for 22 months, says, take me to Funky Town, Cool Cat. Why did they have the children's character at the 420 Awards? Why does he do this? That's just a butt. That's literally just a shot of the butt of the character. That's off-putting. We're gonna go back to soft sits in just a sec, I promise. I promise. I don't own any of these movies. I'm a fake fan. Why is Cool Cat sleeping on top of the covers? And why does he just literally tape color printed photos on top of an actual hung up framed photo?
Oh, it feels great to be awake. And I can hear my parents downstairs. I better go see what's happening. But first, I better brush my teeth so I can have some minty fresh breath.
I'll get to the link in a sec, H. Baird. Sorry, by the way.
Can I have some privacy, please? Oh, that feels great. Now I'm going to brush my teeth to wash my face.
Hello.
Hey there. God, I just love that necklace.
Oh.
Time to brush those teeth.
You don't even have teeth. You suck, Cool Cat. God damn it. Anyway, this guy looks like that guy. That's how we got on that whole tangent. Jesus. Oh.
Hi there, kids. I'm Cool Cat, and I love you. Let's have some funny, fun, yum time. Why, hello there, young man. Did you see my film about anti-bullying?
Yeah, I did. And I thought it kind of sucked.
That's not a nice thing to say. I will make you...
Oops, didn't mean to do that, sorry.
Worked up over it.
You'll be hearing from my liar team.
It's funny.
Maintain the continuity.
Oh, is Cool Cat a soft sit? I'm gonna go with yes. Just, why not? It'll justify the tangent.
To complete a case from beginning
There ain't no rule that says Cool Cat ain't a sovereign citizen.
to end under service of the
See, I can use Airbud too.
methods of the service. So I'm giving closure to the world that on September 17th, I filed my contracts back in the U.S. Supreme Court as Chief Judge, simultaneously under a lot of national security concerns. And so the case itself is sealed.
Oh, duh. Reminds me of this guy. Sorry. I know I literally said that I was going to click on that and then I forgot. Oh, Black Cougar! How have we not covered Black Cougar?
My name is Silvio De Salvatore, and I created and invented the first superhero who has one goal: to protect children. This is Black Cougar.
Absolutely not the first superhero whose primarily domain has been protecting children. Fuck, Gamera's right there.
Go Cougar. No.
Pat, listen to me and listen to me closely. First of all, I just found out your name, Pat Crotchy. Nice name! Who gave you that name, Pat? Pat! 76ers suck! Philadelphia
Is he aware that Black Panther is already a thing?
sucks!
And has been since, like, the 70s?
We don't care about sports medicine! We don't care about you, Pat!
So the Black Cougar was the judge's #1 choice, but what...
Nah, it's not Dragon's Den. This is a different competition show from the early 2000s that was kind of like Dragon's Den, but more broadly about products and toys and gadgets and stuff. It didn't stick around. It only lasted a season or two before they actually ended up adapting Dragon's Den into Shark Tank in the United States.
What they don't know is that he's here tonight. Please welcome Black Cougar and Silvio
American Inventor was the name of this show.
De Salvatore.
Cougar! Black Cougar! Black Cougar! Black
Terrible costume. George Foreman's one of the judges.
Pat Croce! Pat Croce! Pat Croce!
How are you doing, man?
Oh, unbelievable ride you guys gave me. I want to thank American Inventor. Thank you, American Inventor.
Yeah, they did end up actually making a movie, which is quite bad, and I wish I had a copy of it.
Oh, seriously, how has life been for you since the show?
I can't believe how many emails I got. I got about like 23,000 emails, and I do reply to all of them personally. It's unbelievable. Thank you, American Mentor, and thank you, Ma, for making me.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Pat right now since he's sitting there?
No.
Puma Man is the only cougar-based superhero. He doesn't win. Black Cougar full movie? Damn, that's a shame. The entirety of Black Cougar is not on YouTube. Cocaine Cougar? That's a thing.
I should be there in about 15 minutes if I cut through the woods.
We get it, you're ripping off Cocaine Bear.
Black Cougar escaped from a Los Angeles County lab and is still elusive.
Chef? Someone there?
That's a fucking cocaine cougar.
What is that happening here, guys?
Oh, those effects look amazing.
Because of national.
Rena Redhead says, wait, they really made a superhero named Black Panther right after the Black Panthers in real life to appeal to black children? Right after is maybe not perfect. And I don't know enough about the origin of the actual superhero Black Panther to speak upon it. I know it was a creation, I believe, of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, but I don't know the specifics other than that. That's just Puma Man, though, I guess.
-security in compliance with RR 294-568-221 US. Simultaneously, the U.S. Supreme Court received that on the 21st of September, and so the 3-day rescission was complete on at the end of the day on the 24th of.
The character predates the organization. Interesting. Is there any relevant? Is there like a connection? Was there an earlier Black Panther that like is the origin for both names? You know what I mean?
September of this last year.
Like, is there an earlier thing that was called Black Panther or Black Panthers that both Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and the actual Black Panther political group looked at and went, we're going to use that name?
2020. The reasons why I'm bringing this up is, as many of you know, after my Supreme Court becoming Chief Judge, I ended up in conducting the largest military court-martialing in the history of planet Earth, and that was Corporation-Case RR 385-460-312 US. And in that filing of that court-martialing, I filed a contract shutting down the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives. I'd like to show that document right down here. This is, they put their seals on the back of each one of my pages, and this was a letter I received from the government printing office, and this is in paragraph 7. Please keep in mind, for those of you who are watching this technology of style of syntax and correct communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, and quantum math, grammar, communication, dialogues, methods, was a style that I'm grandfathered in on, so I can have the right to stop and correct and improve the grammar. But because I was first in line, first in time, there's no one out to actually have any say about how I am conducting my court-martialings, how I'm conducting my court at the U.S. Supreme.
So the best, obviously everything he's saying is fictional and he has no power, but I find it funny that if it were true, it would be horrifying that he thinks he should have the right to unilaterally be judge, jury, and executioner. Not even that. Like, legislature, judge, jury, and executioner. Like, he gets to unilaterally just decide what is and isn't okay, who to prosecute, if they're guilty, the punishment.
In court, because...
like, that's fucked up.
None of the people in the quantum community were even around when all of this happened, so...
Peep Lord with 50 bits says, I think they're both just named after the animal because panthers are powerful and black is a cool color. It's just a really cool cat mascot. It's come full circle. Altered Undying with a link. Loads County Freedom Organization. There we go. The Lowndes County Freedom Organization, also known as the Lowndes County Freedom Party or Black Panther Party, was an American political party founded during 1965 in Lowndes County, Alabama. The independent third party was formed by local African-American citizens led by John Hewlett and by staff members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee under the leadership of Stokely Carmichael. Okay. As the march from Selma to Montgomery took place, Carmichael and some in the SNCC who were participants declined to continue marching after they reached Lowndes County, decided to instead stop and talk to the local residents. After word spread that Carmichael avoided arrests from 2 officers who ordered him to leave a school where he was registering voters after he challenged them to do so, Carmichael and other SNCC activists who stayed with him in the county were inspired to create the LCFO with Hewlett, who since the banning of the NAACP in the state... I'm sorry, I just got slapped in the face by that. Like, it doesn't surprise me to hear that the NAACP was banned from Alabama, but just that sentence kind of made me, wait, what? Fuck. Let's see. Active and... As the Voting Rights Act of 1965 allowed African Americans to register to vote, the objective of the party was to register African Americans in a county that was 80% black. Hewlett, who was LCFO's chairperson, was one of the first 2 African American voters whose registration was successfully processed in Lowndes County. Local residents and SNCC staff members decided to avoid joining the Alabama Democratic Party because the state party was led by segregationist Governor George Wallace. Bad guy, fun fact. And employed the slogan, white supremacy. That's the whole slogan. Wow, that's not creative at all. That's just awful. That's not even like creative bigotry. It's literally just, his slogan was white supremacy. Holy shit. Represented by an image of a white rooster. Due to the high rates of illiteracy among black residents, an image of a Black Panther was adopted to identify party members of LCFO in contrast to members of the all-white Democratic Party represented by a white rooster. The idea for the logo came from SNCC Field Secretary Ruth Howard. Well, there you go. That is actually very interesting. Thank you for that information.
Under grandfathering and first architect, I'm in position as the creator because I built the construct of the U.S. Supreme Court. The reason why I did that is because the Constitution of the United States were the guidelines for setting up a judicial system as well as elect a president. But it was the banking charter that was coming off a 70-year moratorium of bankruptcy coming from October 29th, 1929 under a 7-year tranche. And in that rules and continuances, it vacated the Constitution or the guidelines, which was the Constitution for setting up a judicial system, as well as setting up a president, were vacated because none of the founding fathers who wrote the Constitution were there to maintain the rules of the continuance of evidence, which must be...
I'm sorry, did you just say that we can't make new laws or make amendments because the actual people who signed the original Constitution are dead? The Constitution does not say they have to be there for things. They did think that through.
He maintained as a judge, postmaster, banker for the collateralization to move the Constitution to set up a foundation for the construct of a court and a construct of a presidency. Because of that, and because I've maintained the rules and the continuity of the postal-government and maintained the rules of the
postal-government. I have to pee real quick, and I apologize for that. While I do that, I will put on something for you guys. Boo doo 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 doo. I don't know, to be nice. Where's Sausage Guy? I know I saw something by him. Gross mouth noises.
According to the comments, no one's enjoying these videos, and yet they're my most popular videos. 15-minute carrot, 30-minute carrot, 1 hour carrot. Maybe it's a hope thing that after an hour of being deep fried at like 400 degrees, it's gonna be something other than ash. Let's do this. Ow. Ow. That's reacting a lot harsher than I thought it was going to. 15-minute carrot. It looks like a burned hot dog. But that's carrot, my friend. The inside's pretty soft so far. It just tastes like a boiled carrot. 30-minute carrot. Exact same thing going on. A little bit softer and a little bit sweeter than the 15-minute carrot. Looks like a turd in a punch bowl. 1 hour carrot. Oh my god, for the first time the entire thing isn't completely black. Moment of truth. It's actually kinda good. It kinda tastes like carrot jerky. I don't mind eating this at all. It takes on kinda like a meat texture. It's very weird. I'm gonna have to give the deep fried carrot for an hour a 4 out of 5.
Bop, 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 bop.
No, I'm talking about even like the status correction. I feel like we.
Oh, did he? He normally starts at a minute and a half. This is the first time he hasn't.
What's up? What's good, family? How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? What's good? What's up, family? How y'all doing? What's up?
This is a scammer guy. Alleged scammer guy.
I'm gonna wait till a few of you guys get up in here. How y'all doing? What's going on? What's good? What's good, family? How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? Good to see y'all. Blesses. All right. Now, let me explain, right? So, these couple weeks and months, I ain't been having enough time to actually give y'all, a lot more information, but I got a lot coming out soon, right? So I'm about to be going in, right? We about to be dealing with credit. We about to be dealing with the business side. I'm talking about even the status correction. I feel like we passed that level where we just constantly talking about the sovereignty and, the do not detain list. Cause I feel like most of you guys come really for the credit. The sovereign side is good.
Wow, it's almost like the people who watch your channel primarily do so either because they're me and they find it interesting someone online committing crimes so just blatantly out in the open, or people who want to emulate the crimes you're allegedly committing.
But that's for those who really want it because it's still a risk factor with it.
Yeah, he's the guy that does the synthetic identity fraud, H. Baird.
It's still a risk factor. It's not just cut and dry. We would just, I'm claiming my sovereignty.
I should do recipes. Here's a recipe. Okay. You take... God, there actually was some, really quick fudge I used to make that was just, microwave, and it was so stupid. It was, literally you could take, a scoop of peanut butter and, I don't remember if it was, chocolate syrup or it was something like that. Maybe it was just that and, milk and some chocolate, and then you microwave, and it kind of turns into fudge.
But you're not...
That's as close to a recipe as I can get, is something that's barely an anecdote.
Willing to learn more. You're not willing to take certain risks. You get what I'm saying? So
Synthetic ID fraud is differentiated from typical ID fraud because, for instance, if you did identity fraud against some person, you would get their social security number and steal it. It's already been assigned. It's assigned to that person's name. It's assigned to that person and associated with their name and identity. So you are stealing their already formed identity. Synthetic identity fraud involves manufacturing fake identities that are not directly stolen from a living person who actually exists. It is generally stealing a social security number that has not been assigned yet. So for instance, if you don't know, the United States, when you get, when you have a baby and that baby gets a social security number, they don't, create that number right then. What they do is they have big batches of social security numbers and cards that are already printed up. They just haven't actually been assigned yet. So there are people who their entire scam is they will, through a variety of means, basically figure out what social security numbers exist but haven't been assigned yet, and then they will either use or sell those to people, and then people use those numbers to create synthetic identities. So they are stealing the social security number of someone who doesn't even exist yet. Now, this, of course, is not a victimless crime, not only because, of course, with this number they're going to be attempting to steal, most likely, but because eventually that social security number will be assigned, and then 20, 30 years later, you're going to have, a 16, 20-year-old, whatever, trying to figure out, why the fuck is my credit report destroyed? Because someone decades ago stole your social security number before you were even born. It's fucked up.
That's only specifically for those who really want their status corrected.
Don't the system know those numbers are not in use and throw up massive red flags? I don't know if they're doing anything to change it, considering this has become, a problem. This is not the only guy doing this. It's an entire, category of identity fraud. So I imagine they do their best, but, I think people have a false sense of how connected everything is. In their head, people have this idea that there's, a government database with all of the information, and if anyone fucks up even a little bit, you'll get caught immediately. That's helpful as an idea in a security theater sort of way, If people assume that, then that means that people are less likely to try and commit fraud maybe a little bit. But in reality, the government systems are built on really old computers and really old software, and things don't usually get caught immediately. There isn't some big central database that flags things. It's a lot of separate databases that are out of date and built on code made by people who probably haven't been working for the government for decades. So you'll get caught, but it's a system run by humans. There's going to be flaws, and yeah, you can get around things for a while, but you get caught eventually. Gnome Pickle says, "Excuse me, ma'am, but it says here that your newborn back 5 years before they were born defaulted on a loan for a TV. Hydrate.
Blessings, family. Blessings. Blessings, family. How y'all doing? What's been going on with y'all for the most part, family? Okay, so y'all want to learn how to purchase a car without a driver's license. Now, most of the time, this is what you got to do, right? So,
if you don't have a driver's license, what are you gonna do with the car?
For you guys who won't, game when dealing with purchasing cars and all that stuff, right? So look at it like this.
This was a live stream. This is a live stream, chat. I'm not talking his. People can respond when he did this. This is a VOD of a live stream he did.
Let's say if you want to purchase a Corvette, let's say Chevrolet selling a Corvette for $93,000. Now, most of the time, if you want to go straight out the dealership...
You've already lost me. The second you start talking about a car that's that expensive, my brain shuts off because I have no interest. I need a vehicle that'll take me places, not something to throw money into like a black hole. I already have something where I do that. It's called Blu-rays.
With a car without a driver's license, right?
Moira Soma, thanks for gifting us up.
At least make sure you got some sort of government issue ID. They're not going to take a Moorish American identity card or a Native American identity card. Make sure it's a passport, state ID, or something. Now, this is what you can do. Never apply for in-house financing. Anytime you deal with like dealerships and in-house financing, it's up to them on whether they want to finance you the car. You get what I'm saying? So they might say, oh, if you don't have a driver's license, we're not going to let you finance this car. But money talks. So I know for a fact, if you go to an outside lender, and let's just say if you apply through PNC Bank and they approve you for $100,000, right?
I'm getting seasickness.
Now you take that drive check straight to the dealership, and once they see it, their ass gonna glow up like a fish in a tank who want to get fed. So once they see that, they're gonna take it instantly. Now I remember when I went back and I purchased a Ram, right? They didn't do all that. Oh, you gotta have a license. I showed them an international driver's license. I just got another. I'm gonna show you guys another site that I went through to get an international driver's license. Here you go, right here. So I do got a driver's license. I'm a class A, B, C, D, and E driver. You know.
Does he have a fake? This is a fake ID. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible to have all of those qualifications. I just don't know if, you know, considering his entire YouTube channel is about how to commit fraud, it makes me wonder if that's real. Does he have a real license, or?
I have a license. I showed them an international driver's license. I just got another. I'm gonna show you guys.
Oh, an international driver's license.
As another site that I went through to get an international driver's license.
What site? Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
Here you go, right here.
What are you talking about?
So I do got a driver's license.
Oh, that's fake. That's so fake. It's fake. I saw it. It's fake. That's the fakest fake ID in the history of fake IDs.
Class A, B, C, D, and E driver.
Just check all those boxes. That's good. That makes it seem legit.
You know, like, I heard what?
You can drive everything from a motorcycle to a fucking Mack truck.
Class A driver, that's pretty much like 18-wheeler or something like that, right? So you can go on this site that I went to. I got to post it. I don't know about hard, but you can go right in there with your international driver's license, and you also bring a copy of your passport. So once they run both of them, it's a match. You can get.
There's no such thing as I guess I can't say there's no such thing as an international driver's license anywhere in the world. It's a big world. But no, in the United States, there is not something that is recognized that's called an international driver's license.
And you can drive straight off the lot like that, and they recognize international driver's license. If they actually...
I don't think, like, if it's a literal driver's license from another country, maybe? I don't know, but, like, let's look this up in another tab while we're watching this.
Do you have a driver's license in the state? Just say, usually I travel abroad, so I really don't, you know, trying to get, you know, a state driver's license. So when they look at that whole scenario, they're gonna let you purchase it, especially coming there with money. Soon you coming there with outside financing and they see a drive check, they're gonna instantly sell you the car because they try and get it off. They're not trying to hold on to it because that's that bank fault. You get what I'm saying? Because one thing you got to understand is, right, anytime you apply for a vehicle,
it's like different countries have different standards. So in the United States, if you're from the United States and you're going to Canada or Mexico, they have agreements with Canada and Mexico that allow your United States driver's license to apply in Canada and Mexico. Other countries require different things and have different standards. So there are international driver's licenses, but they're not necessarily one specific thing. Different countries have different ones that they recognize. So it seems more like he's trying to get an international driver's license, probably because there's lower standards in checking the information being correct on them. This is an assumption. I'm not saying this is subjectively true. Which he then takes to the dealership in the hopes that they'll take it, because it's not going to be run through the same systems that run state driver's licenses. Basically, he's trying to... it's social manipulation. Even if the international driver's license is real, clearly the place you're getting the loan from wants something more identifiable, but I'm assuming he's hoping he can push enough that they'll just take that form of identification, even if it's not actually helpful to them in finding him if he were to default on the loan. Social engineering, yes. He's using the international driver's license as a tool in social engineering to push them into doing something their policy prohibits by making it seem official. Oh, you need a driver's license? Oh, I don't have a state driver's license, but I have this. This should count. Hoping that the person you're working with will take it, even though they probably shouldn't, for the purposes that they really need a license for.
The bank don't ask.
Again, that's just my read on the situation.
Do you have a driver's license? The bank only run your consumer credit report. If the banks like your consumer credit report and your your score is nice and everything like that, you can take that that draft check that they approve you for. You can take that straight to the dealership. And I highly recommend most people go to the go to an outside lender. Don't ever go inside of a dealership and ask them to run your credit. They're going to run your credit 20, 30 times before they can approve you. Even if you get approved the first time, they might say, oh, do you want a better rate? They say you at 5.4, you want a 5.0, so you're going to run your credit 1,000 times before they decide that you can get approved for a 5.4, 1 point down. You get what I'm saying? So you don't even want to waste your time with that. It's better off going through a credit union. I really prefer a credit union. Traditional banks is okay, but let's just say if you got questionable credit, I prefer you guys to go through a credit union because a lot of credit union is very thirsty to give out lines of credit.
See what I mean? Like, he's literally, it's not about doing something honestly or the right way. It's about knowing who to manipulate and who is incentivized to look past regulation and common sense in order to give you what you're asking for. Yeah. Gnome Pickles says, now here's what you want to do. You want to annoy everyone enough that they don't want to deal with you anymore. That's how you get away with fraud. Reno Redhead says, why is he advocating that people do this? Doesn't that increase his likeliness of getting caught? Yep. I don't think... I've talked about this before. I don't think he realized... I think he's overconfident. I think he's overconfident and doesn't understand the severity of what he's doing. He always treats us as incredibly blasé and says way more than he should. So I think he thinks he's some, like, secret genius that has, like, found one simple trick that the banks don't want you to know about. I don't think he understands that this is indeed... I think he's convinced himself this is a gray area. And I know you're going, what do you mean gray area? He's stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, allegedly. Yeah, I know. I think he has convinced himself it's a gray area, and that if he was caught, that there's a chance he'd get away with it, because he just thinks he's so, like, he can finesse the situation. He thinks he can talk his way out of things. He thinks he has done this in such a way that, like, you know, he's smooth, he's got this. That's how he comes across, at least. How he, you know, portrays himself to be. So I get the feeling he genuinely does not know how fucked he is. If and when he gets caught.
Loans and etc. So you ain't got to worry about, traditional banks, because most traditional bank standards be high. You go through Chase, they might say you gotta have a 750, but you might go through a Citizens Bank or a Citizen Credit Union or something.
As I said in the last time we covered him too, his dad taught him a lot of this. So I think there's some, like, generational trauma, generational abuse going on where he might have this very normalized to him and doesn't understand how severe it is because his father taught him all of this. And, like, from the posts I've seen him make about his dad, he has a lot of respect and love for his dad, which seems to have been returned with, you know, his dad teaching him crime, which is unfortunate.
Something like that, and they run your credit, you might got a 650. They approve you for the same thing that the person at Chase Bank, that Chase Bank required you to have a 750. So you might have 100 points less and still might get the card. You get what I'm saying?
So let's do a podcast called Scam Goddess, and this video would be a good link for them. If you want to send it along, here's a link. Mention my name. Don't know why. Just be like, I was watching this person's stream, Hannah, and she covers conspiracies and scammers and stuff.
Some banks.
If you ever have other content creators you like, feel free to just spread my name around, like the clap.
You can get through the cracks just with an authorized user.
But don't say it like that, because that's gross. Just be like, hey, there's a content creator, and most of the time she doesn't say awful off-putting things like that. Most of the time it's fine.
Meaning you don't even have to have none of that crazy stuff on your credit. You ain't gotta have a house. You ain't gotta have loans. You ain't gotta have vehicles. They see an authorized user on your credit account only for $30,000, and you might be an authorized user, but they look at that as that's your debt as well. So you've been paying on it. It looks good to the bank, and they'll give you the check just like that. Certain credit union banks, not every last one of them, but certain ones would. And the best ones to do, the best ones to go through is the startups, like the ones that's not really established, the one that gotta beg you to get an account with them. So if you see people in the mall, Walmart, and they sponsoring a baby credit union and they going around passing cards around, those are the ones you prey on. Not prey on in the sense of defrauding them, but those are the ones you have to go through. Because when you go through them, they thirsty to give out some money. They can't wait because that's how they built their brand. That's how they grow even more by giving out products. Once the bank reaches peak of amount of money and products and services to give his customers, they at their peak. But the other ones, they trying to catch up. So they got to give out much lending as possible. They got to give out much money as possible. So it's best to go through certain community banks so you can easily get approved, depending on if you got questionable.
He's literally describing that it's easier to rip off smaller banks and credit unions because they're more desperate and therefore have to take on a higher risk profile in order to compete with large banks like JP Morgan Chase. That's fucked up. I get it. They're banks, but what the fuck?
Credit, but those who got good credit, your credit passes 750, you got homes on your credit, you got 100% payment history, you got over 20-some accounts on your credit. It's no doubt you can go through anywhere and get approved. You get what I'm saying? But this is for those who have questionable credit. Yeah, this is for those who got questionable credit. So if your credit questionable, then you'll be like, all right, okay, I'm gonna go through a credit union, and you do it like that. And what's so crazy is you can run back to back. So if you went ahead and got $100,000 loan on the draft from one bank, that same bank will approve you again like they did me. They'll come right back. You can come right back and apply for something less, maybe a $90,000 loan, and they approve that, and you can use that card that you paid for the $90,000. You can rent that out. One you can have one you can be renting out. The other one you can have for personal use. And the one you're renting out, paying both the car notes.
You're gonna rent your car out to someone on an individual basis? That seems like a really bad idea.
Just like that. Paying both the car notes. So,
like, usually car rental businesses, like something like Hertz, needs to operate at scale because renting an individual vehicle isn't generally a profitable enterprise, and usually you would need to operate, again, at scale, in particular with a fleet of used cars, hopefully that have already been paid off, so that most of the revenue isn't going directly into paying off the asset. Cars are, as I think all of us know, one of the quickest depreciating assets that there are. Trying to make money off buying two cars and then renting one of them out is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So if you rent out another, let's just say if it's like a nice truck or something, and you getting $200 off of it a day, right? 30 days, that's $6,000.
Who's gonna pay you $200 to borrow your truck for one day? Like, why would I do that? Like, if I wanted to rent a truck like that, I could go to, like, a U-Haul or some similar company that, again, is probably going to charge me way less because they're operating at scale. The scale of their operation allows them to offer me services at a lower reasonable price than random crazy person trying to rent me his truck for a day for $200?
The fees, let's just say $4,000. Let's say the car payment on each car is $1,000 a month.
If you're paying $1,000 a month for your car payment, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? That's more than my mortgage.
That's $2,000. How much you walk away with? $2,000. Of course, you got insurance payment
and I have shit escrowed in.
Everything like that. You might walk away even with $1,000, but you still not losing. You get what I'm saying? You still not losing. You still winning. And that's just the basic, you know? I ain't even went nowhere as far as really capitalizing off of it. It's just, you just taking that little step and it taking you somewhere else. And then you constantly build your portfolio. Then you get better with paying back. Then you upgrade. Now, instead of you going to get the Corvette, you might get a brand new Mercedes. Mercedes, let's just say if it's $198,000.
$1,000 a month.
And you going up higher.
He's saying that the car payment will be $1,000 a month.
Higher in different cars, and you borrowing against that, and you constantly build it to a point where you can get a Lamborghini. Well, the bank don't have a problem with giving you $300,000 to borrow.
Like, it feels like if you're paying $1,000 a month on a car loan, you can't afford that car. You did not put down enough money on that car.
Because they know you will pay it back. Especially if the income is constantly growing and you have a real financial statement that you're putting together and everything like that, it won't be nothing to get anything. I talked about that yesterday, family. So for those, let's just say, for those who want to get business loans, I always told you guys this. If you want to get a business loan, understand this. Your personal credit better be good. You got to have good personal credit. Because if your personal credit ain't nowhere, you're not going to get nowhere really with the business side. You really want to make sure your personal credit is there. Because like I just explained, you got all that on your credit, your personal credit is good. You can go through banks bigger than just your traditional banks. You can go to Cardiff Bank. What else banks you can hit? You can get SBA.
What banks can you hit? I feel like you're accidentally saying the quiet part out loud when you describe it as hitting a bank. Fenekagami says, my car payment is less than $300. My mortgage is also less than $1K. Granted, it's more with insurance and taxes put in. Oh, yeah. This is nuts. And I know that, like, I live in a pretty, like, the cost of living is lower in my area than it is for, you know, a lot of places in the country. And I recognize that, but, like, $1,000 for a car loan? Are you kidding me? Per month?
Loans, because you can go through the SBA. Once you pass a 720 credit score, you can go through SBA. You go through the government and get loans, and the government gonna hook you up. They ain't cheap. You can get a $500,000 SBA loan. It's so like it is so many plays out here. It just you want.
He's describing stealing $500,000 from the federal government. I'd consider that a thing you shouldn't do, for a variety of reasons.
You want to be in position to execute on that level. You want to be able to, okay, a financial statement. Your financial statement is showing what? Your profit and losses, how much money you're making off your business. And you looking at the structure of your business. You want to structure it up. You want to make sure you got your LLC together. You want to make sure you have your physical business location. You want to make sure you have all that shit together, right? So when it's time to go apply for a loan at any bank, when they see your credit profile, they look at you got your articles together and everything like that, you can take off. And I can give you guys a list of banks that you can go through as for your business, but
I will give you a list of banks.
Still gotta have that personal side together. If you ain't got that personal side together, you can miss that whole business play. And then on top of that, your business account has to look good. I'm gonna show y'all how to run up your business account, right? If you got two businesses, make sure that if you got money coming in on one of them, make sure that for the two business accounts you have, let's just say the one that you're not trying to get business funding on, make sure that every time you get paid off that second account that you don't use. And what you're gonna do with that account, you're gonna wire all of your payments structurally, like it could be with structure, right? It can be weekly, it could be daily. Let's just say if you get a cash out payment, right? Boom, they send it to cash out. My company is TW Online Selling. Let's just say I don't use TW Online Selling. I can have all my cash out payments go to TW Online Selling.
Why are you giving the name of your business while describing how you do fraud with the business?
TW Online Selling can send a wire to Mega Shipping Trade. What this wire can be, it can be a commercial invoice paid. It can be...
He's describing how he hides his criminal enterprise.
Securing a deposit. It can be payment for services. All of that. So when banks see that you actually getting paid from another company through wire ACH payments,
he's got a LinkedIn
and not just a
page.
cash app, they know you have a more structured...
That's nice of him to have a LinkedIn page for his crime.
Business. Now, that's not how you get approved. Like, as far as loans, that just shows them that you have structure. The way you get approved, of course, is always your credibility. How much money do you make? How much money do you want? And also, how much debt do you think you could take home? I can't trust you with $150,000 in credit if I know you ain't out there managing that type of money. I'm scared to do that. That's what the banks look at. I'm scared to do that. So you got to show me something. You get what I'm saying? And also, I'm going to tell y'all something. This is another thing, right? You can do something with Dun & Bradstreet where you can write up a commercial invoice and you can say it's been paid. I got two companies, right? TW Online Selling Mega Shipping Trade can get invoiced by TW Online Selling saying...
Sorry, I'm reading his business information on the other screen. That's what I'm looking at, just for the record. While he's talking, I'm looking at, like, his stuff and trying to figure out...
They paid for a service. They just...
The businesses he owns.
Say if the service was $1 million. You can send that report to Dun & Bradstreet. They will report that on your business credit. For you guys who's too concerned about business credit. Business credit is A1, it's good, right? But it's not the best thing due to the fact that banks don't look at it like that. How people think. That's not what they run. If you went to a bank and you apply for a business loan, the first thing that you're going to see pop up is your Experian or Credit Karma notification said there's been an inquiry on your TransUnion report or your Equifax report or your Experian report, because they want to see where you at personally. It used to be a time where the banks would give a corporation $100 million, right? And what you think the corporation used to do? Take all that money and file for bankruptcy. So the banks could never go after the person individually. They changed that whole goddamn thing. This is not those days. Most banks, they said, I want someone, an authorized representative or someone personally to sign off on this loan stating that the company will pay us back. And even if the company decides to go in bankruptcy, we want to attack you personally. Because the banks have been taking hits on real corporations. Is debt catch is good? Yes. Debt catch is real good. You got rent reporters, you got rental karma, you got all of those sites. All of those sites are real good to use. Okay, you want to fix your credit fast? It depends on what's on it. If you got hospital bills, you can easily get that off. If you got student loans, you're going to be in a fight. Now, if y'all want to get y'all credit repaired...
Someone asked, does he know if what he's doing is illegal? I talked about it earlier. I think he thinks it's more of a gray area than it is, because it's not even close to a gray area. It is just obvious, like, felony fraud? Oh, hello, Matilda. I like your name. I love the Matilda movie and book. Anyway, what I was going to say is, I think he thinks it's a gray area. Of course it is not. The way he's described it before is he said things like, oh, what? How do you think rich people get rich? How do you think big businesses do it? It seems like he thinks that there is this unspoken, well, you know, everyone does it. And there's a problem. And the problem is, he's looking at incredibly wealthy businesses and organizations and the fucked up things they do and assuming that he can do the same things as just a random person and get away with it. He doesn't understand how serious it is and how serious it is when anyone does it, but certainly how much it is actually punished when you're an actual just individual person doing this and get caught. Gnome Pickles says, this is what happens when your mom says we have Gordon Gekko at home.
Contact my man Ricky Lott. I'm actually gonna drop his number in the description. Ricky Lott or my Uncle Jason, whichever one you guys prefer. They're gonna get your credit report straight. They'll be able to take off your student loans. They'll be able to take off your bankruptcies. They will be able to take off your certain auto loans and charge-offs. But nothing never 100%. Sometimes they might have to do 2-3 rounds. 2-3 rounds meaning the credit union say, nope, we're keeping this account on there. And you got to dispute it again. Nope, we're keeping it on there. Dispute it again. You might have to find so many different ways to constantly dispute it because it's not that easy to take off those accounts.
It's almost like they're on there for a reason.
You said what was the reason for house arrest? Oh, so the reason why I got on house arrest initially was when they searched the vehicle, they said they found a lot of ammunition in the car. So the judge, like, he got prior convictions and everything like that. The judge originally...
To be clear, I believe they also found a firearm, not just ammunition. I could be wrong, but I thought they found a firearm too, and that was part of the problem because he's a felon. So illegally where he was and where he was caught, which was in... Was it Cook County? It was in or around the Chicago area. He definitely wasn't supposed to be in possession of a firearm.
Set the conditions of the bond to be at home confinement during the time when I was on house arrest. What I had to do is I had to go through preliminary, but I already filed a bond motion, but I had to go through preliminary. And once the judge got the case in front of him and he seen the circumstances of the case, he cleared the conditions of the bond due to the fact that the state witness violated the quote-unquote defendant constitutional rights, and that's how I got off house arrest. And I had to cross-examine the officer. The shit I had to ask the officer, something the attorney had no clue about. The attorney don't know nothing about what's going on. The only person know about your case is you. And if you gonna let another man represent you in court and talk for you, you a damn slave, because they don't know every little thing. It's the little thing.
The fact that he hasn't brought up this case or any resolution of it since he got off house arrest and moved to Texas makes me think he literally is just ghosting the court. Like, did he literally get off house arrest and then move to Texas, and the whole plan is just to never ever go back to Chicago or Illinois and hope that he never gets extradited from any other state for this? You know what I mean? Kind of feels like it. He just isn't bringing up the actual resolution of the case post him getting off house arrest. Because the actual trial never happened, right? It was preliminary hearings, and then he got off house arrest, and now he's in Texas and talking about it in the past tense. Profane Priestess says, listen, our economy is effed. It's unfair to the poor, the disabled, the racialized, and so many others. Our system rewards those who have already won and uses systems like credit to keep the rest of us down. In a just world, education, food, shelter, medical care, and other necessities would not be commodities. In a just world, you would be entitled to a democratic say in the workplace. Fraud won't fix it, though. What will? Unions. Progress is brought with... Progress is brought with, let's say, hard work. And there is no shortcut.
Things that matters. How long was you followed? What was the true probable cause?
Had to censor that a little, sorry.
All of this stuff needed to be asked by me. If I never asked that, the attorney won't. The attorney's just gonna ask the basic, simple questions and continue the proceeding. But if you're really trying to get out, you will find a way. And I found a way. I was so happy that day. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it that a judge agreed with a quote-unquote sovereign citizen. Y'all call me a sovereign citizen.
It's probably the last time they'll be doing that, since it seems like you fled your bond.
That's what the trolls call me. But back to this business, y'all. But like I said, build that personal side up, continue to run it up. But one thing you got to understand, if you're not
I didn't assume you did Profane Priestess. I'm just trying to be careful verbally.
savvy, if you don't know how to flip it, if you don't know how to manage it, the best thing to do is constantly capitalize off of it.
I assumed you meant it in the blood, sweat, and tears sense, but yeah.
Build your credit constantly.
My position is pretty much at this point, the appearance of impropriety is impropriety, so I try and do my best, even if I'm a little overcautious.
Build your ability to make more money. If you want a safe investment, my only advice would be put 5% down towards a property and rent it out. That'd be okay. You know, take out a commercial line of credit. No, take out a commercial line of credit. Get the property. Let's just say if it's $10 million, and sometimes you could deal with a lender that will allow you to put 5% down. 5% down to that would be, you know, $500,000, and you can borrow that. You can take that to the bank and borrow that. And if you borrow that 5%, and let's just say you got passive income coming in every month. Let's just say if you make it $20,000, $30,000 a month.
He claims he's in Houston. Like, he's not even hiding where he is in Texas. He says he's in Houston. I'm pretty sure he's had videos of the outside of his new house, too. And he just bought a new house, so, like, they want to find him. They can probably find him.
15 going towards the bank. You walking around with $10,000 passive every month. And that probably can be your blueprint to go in. Because if you don't know how to make money, I would just say real estate. But I wouldn't say the normal, like for me, like you got two sides of real estate. You got a lot of people who want to buy properties to rent. I don't want to rent. I prefer to buy. I prefer to build properties to sell.
I prefer to buy is such a fucking out of touch statement. Yeah, because most people who rent do it because they just love handing money over with no equity building.
Because I know how to find them.
Fuck off. It's not a choice for most people, dick. Most people don't commit major felonies in order to get out of having to rent. Hydrate. I'm out of water, so I gotta go get some in a second. Mr. Whiskers says, some unborn sucker bought a new house.
Blueprints. You can go online and search up blueprints. You can search up home blueprints, all sorts of blueprints, mansion blueprints, single family blueprints, tiny home blueprints.
Many of these are probably copyrighted, right? Can you legally just take someone else's blueprints and build a house with them without permission? I really don't know how that works.
Get blueprints, garage blueprints. You can look up any type of blueprints, and once you get these blueprints, let's just say you might pay thousands of dollars. Sometimes you can pay $100. I paid $40 for blueprint. You go on eBay.
Oh, okay, he pays for them. Cool.
You go to Amazon and buy blueprints, and it's gonna give you the construction plan, the wiring plan. It's gonna give you the foundational plan. It's gonna give you the electric plan. It's gonna give you the building codes. It's gonna give you all of the supplies and inventory list. It's gonna show you everything you possibly need to build it. And what you do is you have to give that over to the general contractor. The general contractor, if he decided to take the job, that's who comes to closing with you on the property. So for a commercial build, a construction build, you will still put down 5 to 10%. So if you need to borrow $1 million from the bank, you got to come to the table with what? $50,000. Of course, it's gonna be closing costs, but you're gonna
Should we be forwarding these to the FBI? Why are they paying me?
$50,000.
No.
$1,000. You come to the table.
I'm not gonna give them shit for free.
With $50,000, that's when everything get done. You know, you put the 5% down. They pay off the the general contractor team, start the project. They get the building permits and everything like that because that's all in the contract and agreement. And once the property get built, you can either sell it or you can live in it. Now, this is the problem. If you choose to sell it, they might want 20% down. What you can do for a finesse, you can put 5% down.
The IRS gives a 10% finder's fee. I'm pretty sure the stipulation on that is you have to have direct, like you can't just go and be like, I think this person's doing something. That would be like if you were an accountant and you noticed actual discrepancies and reported it with, like, facts. All I would have to do here, I'd just be like, hey, IRS, look at this guy. He's probably committing crimes. They're not going to give me shit for that.
It's going to be a vacation.
Scotty the Scott, thanks for 17 months, says, as a sovereign citizen, I do not consent to this sub-anniversary.
Home, live in it for a month and decide to sell it. So if you build this $1 million home, let's just say if the value of the home is $1.7 million, you can sell the whole property, or you can borrow against it. So if the property is worth 1.7, you can borrow 90% of that equity. 90% of 700,000 is roughly around 600 and some thousand. If you borrow 600 and some thousand against your home, you can take that 600 some thousand and use 200,000 of that and borrow 200 million. I mean 200, get 200,000 and borrow $2 million, and you can do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So you take that 200 and you go ahead and do another construction loan. This time you can put the 20% down. So 20% down of $1 million is what? 200,000. So you can borrow $1 million just off that, and this can strictly be an investment property. So soon the property get up and build, you can go ahead and sell it. So once it's on the market and it's sell, you walk away with the remaining capital, and you can continue doing like that. And this is how you can get in real estate. You wouldn't have to do all that hustle, knock on people's doors. Hey, are you selling your home? You get what I'm saying? You ain't got to do that. It's other cheat codes out there. That's
Is that something anyone tells you to do?
Whole thing, like going to people's doors, knocking on their doors.
Seems like really boomerish advice, like when they're like, just go up to the manager and ask for an interview with a firm handshake, like it's 1965.
Versus you can go to the bank just like the corporations do. What do you think the banks do? What do you think the corporations do? What do you think Toll Brothers do? What do you think Tri-Point Homes do? The home builder that I bought this home from, what do you think they do? Perry Homes. They went to the bank.
He gives a lot of identifying information if he was under federal investigation, or like if I was secretly not really just an independent online content creator, but in fact I was some sort of FBI person who did this as some sort of, I don't know, weird online psyop to teach people about conspiracy theories and frauds. It'd be really easy to find this guy, but it's a good thing that's not my job.
To the bank and borrowed the money and got the house built. And usually it don't, now for them, it don't be just for one house. Usually it be for a development plan. So they probably borrowed $300-400
Captain Squid says, well, you do send people on raids. True.
$1 million on the development plan. You get what I'm saying? Because a development plan, you're not building one house, 2-3 houses. You building hundreds of houses.
How do you do, fellow not feds?
But they can do it. They in the position, they can do it. And by you just starting off...
Strangely specific, you're strangely generic.
You could say, I want to put 5% down on a vacation home, but got the intent to sell it. And you can legally do that. It's not mortgage fraud. And you put that 5% down, and you borrow $1 million, which will be you putting down $50,000 to get a $1 million home built, because they're going to give you the quote. The builder going to give you the quote of $1 million. Let's just say it's $1 million. And you look at the value of the home in the neighborhood, and you study the comps and everything like that. You say, dang, this house worth 1.8. I want to sell it. You can either sell it or borrow.
That's the meanest thing I've ever said to you? That you know of. You don't know everything I've ever said about you.
Borrow against it. Now, if you ain't got no other place to stay, you better off borrowing against it. And when you borrow against it, you walk away with 700-some thousand. You take that money and you take even half of it, chop it in half, 350,000, and you can borrow against it, and it's 3.5 million. You get what I'm saying? So it's not really life. I mean, like it's not really like rocket science, y'all. It's not rocket science. That's all they do.
It's more like rocket crime.
A percentage of your money and put down on real estate, and you build a property. It's called a loan to value. Loan to value.
You know what? Fair enough. That's fair.
No.
I think you earned that use of biznatch. I won't even make fun of it. You earned it. I am a biznatch.
Oh, anybody can get that. Anybody can get one of those. And the requirements is low, like 620 credit score. So if your FICO is a 620 credit score, you can get it.
Rocket mortgage science.
Yep. What do you do with the money you borrowed? You borrow against it. Ain't that crazy? Borrow against borrowed money. I borrowed $800,000 from my house, right? And I'm using $400,000 to borrow some more money. You taking borrowed money.
So fraud. That's a pretty cut and dry statement of fraud.
To borrow money. That's the whole credit system about. Borrow money on top of borrowed money on
No.
top of borrowed money on top of borrowed money. Cause ain't no damn money. That's it.
You're not JP Morgan. You're not the Fed. You are an individual person, and what you were describing as an individual person is fraud.
And that's the whole combination to the thing. It's no money. Loan of value, yes. Because it's just borrowed money. That's it. That's all it is. Ain't
Infinite money
special.
glitch.
You don't have to have a GED. You don't have to be a professional. You don't even got to be smart. You just got to have basic common sense. That's it. That's all it is. It's not nothing special. And if you don't know how to get the money, build up your personal credit profile. Well, you can get a credit card at $30,000, $40,000. And you can take that $30,000, $40,000, right, to structure your business even more to allow yourself to get to $60,000 of credit card, right, like as far as your credit card balance. You can use that $60,000 balance and you can have a merchant account set up with your real bank. Let's just say if you got another company. You can scan the full amount off your card, right, and pay payments towards that bank. Let's just say you want $60,000 in business credit card debt. You took that $60,000 but put $30,000 down towards a construction build. 6-7 months, you still making payments towards the bank, but in the meantime, this construction unit is getting put together. The construction unit gets put all the way together, and you borrow against the construction unit. You go right back to the bank, put the money back in the bank. Now your credit still where it's at. And now you build it even more. You keep building, just like that.
Is he muting it? Because of the kids? Oh, yeah. Let me make sure he doesn't show his kids or anything. No, good.
Yeah, just like that. Nothing special. I just told you, you borrow against that money, and you pay them back. That's all you're doing. It's a borrowing game. It's not really, and that's just how you really achieve financial freedom. Just understanding that. Just those little concepts, you will understand. Okay, this is my little entry point into financial freedom. So I learned how to build up my credit, but I learned how to
the little trick we like to call crime.
Get into real estate. Cause you know
the secret ingredient is crime.
Learn how to get into real estate as the owner instead of the borrower. You get what I'm saying? You learn how to.
I feel really bad for these kids. It's not any of these kids' fault. Their dad sucks. Oh, I just have a ton of Doctor Who recommendations because of yesterday, don't I? I will say this about the new sonic screwdriver for the Doctor. I knew the second it happened that the holographic screen feature was gonna be, like, contentious. I fucking love it, and I love that he can make force fields and screens. That's new, but I think it's in line with the character, and I think that makes sense. I like that. For For those who haven't seen the special yet, the sonic screwdriver can now create, like, force fields. He, like, uses it and can draw in the air with it to create, like, holographic constructs or screens to show people stuff. Like, it's new, but at least it's different, you know? I don't want it to become over-reliant. There's always that story problem of the sonic screwdriver and how it's overly used as, like, a deus ex machina. But at the very least, it's giving different ways of using it, you know? It's not just a thing that unlocks doors or does stuff. It has specific functions. Oh, it can make force fields that he draws. Oh, he can make screens to illustrate things to people so he can, like, show them something. Still can't overcome a deadlock. The writers need that. That's literally just a plot device. Anyway, I think it's great. I like that screwdriver. I think it's fun. Yeah, there's a lot of laser weapons and stuff, so the force field makes sense. Still can't do wood, to my knowledge. Doctor Who on the mind. Alright. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Another Sovereign Citizen Day in the books. We actually didn't... Did we do 0, like, traffic stops? I think this is the first Sovereign Citizen video we've done where we didn't cover a single traffic stop. It was all just, like, theory and discussion about Sovereign Citizen stuff from, like, their scammers and stuff. That's kind of interesting. So anyway, had a good time. That was fun. Love you too, Mr. Blast. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Let's see who we're going to do a raid for. And then, like I said, tomorrow I think we're going to be continuing our watch of one of the worst reality shows of all time, The Pickup Artist, the disgusting reality series that's all about misogyny and teaching men how to treat women like objects. And sometimes objects like women. So, stay tuned tomorrow for that. Let's do a raid. Have a wonderful night, everyone. I'm gonna go get some food. And maybe play Starfield. Maybe watch a movie. I don't know. I'm gonna hang out with my wife. We'll see what she wants to do. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.